Take me to the channel for the PCP. Listen to some voicemails for the Minecraft stream. I really want to have Radcon funded by you. We can be procrastinators. Hello and welcome to the Procrastinators podcast. I'm Ben Saint and I just don't have the fucking patience for it today. And we got Give and Take here.
Yeah, I wonder why Ben is feeling down right now.
I'm gonna fucking kill you. It's literally your fault. It's literally your fault. You did this.
What did I do?
What? Who the fuck are you? Oh, it's Zero and Hoodie, the KATO guys.
Hello, and just so everyone listening knows, Ben invited us to record this 55 minutes ago, but of course this had to be delayed because he had to get some beef on Twitter real quick.
I had to take a rare L. I had to set aside time to take a rare L. I'm not used to it. It really snuck up on me, and just laid me out.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. I mean, the gist of it is that I assume it was you that made the comment. I mean, who else would it be? I guess on the PCP Twitter. Like,
wait. Let me just the context of it is that Trixie has had Radcon footage since Radcon, and we've been asking her for it. I have personally asked her for it, and you have personally asked her for it for months now. For months, we have sent messages being like, when are we going to get it? When are we going to get it? We need that footage. She said in YouTube comments, she told people she would give it to us. She said she would do that, and she has ignored all of our requests for it. And we had a meeting the other day, and we talked about like Radcon stuff, and we all agreed yeah, she hasn't sent it. She's ignoring us. I don't think it's coming. So today I log into Twitter, and I make a fucking tweet saying, Trixie has the stuff, and it's probably gone. It's probably destroyed. She's lost it. Whatever. Only for her to reply that no, actually, she sent it 2 hours before I made the fucking tweet. Completely randomly.
Is the implication of this that maybe she does listen to the PCP still? Because wasn't it last episode that you guys were talking about this?
No to
her.
She's just psychic.
I don't know. It's just no, because we didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about this stuff in specific. It that was just we talked about it at the meeting we had. We didn't talk about that stuff that she has saved.
The last time I asked her about it was the 19th. And I mentioned it on Twitter, DM, and Discord. And she didn't respond, so I don't know.
Right, that was
just so happens that she sent it to me. She sent it to me while I was asleep. And then I woke up and I saw the tweet that Ben made first. And then assumed Trixie sent it to me in response, but it was the other way around. I looked at the time that she sent it.
The worst part, Ben, is that you got fucked on the math. Is not only were you wrong about the initial tweet.
I was wrong on the math.
The initial tweet is just fate, right? That's coincidence. No one can really blame you for that. But afterwards, the 3 more tweets doubling down, that was the rough one. That was the big L.
I mean, It's an L, and it just seemed so. It's just so unlikely that the timing would have been I was no, it can't possibly be. So I insisted no, you didn't. No, the math's wrong. No, time zones. Blah blah blah. But no, it's all wrong. It's all in vain. I don't know.
Truly tragic.
It is tragic.
It's also really funny.
I think this is probably the worst thing to happen on the world stage, within the last several weeks.
Probably of the decade so far.
Yeah, I think so.
I think news heads are going to start talking about the PCP debacle instead of Israel versus Palestine. I think one of these has usurped the other one.
Finally.
Benson finally takes an L. Headline.
And it's fucking... And Joe Biden withdraws critical aid from Ben saying when he takes an L on the world stage.
Well, I mean, much
humanitarian aid.
Much like Israel versus Palestine. I mean, this has been going on for centuries. I mean, it's really like just a lot of historical murkiness. Yeah. I mean, really, what can you do?
And it will continue long after we're all dead. Yeah, it is. I'm so mad. I'm late. We started the episode late because she made that reply like literally as the episode was about to start, and I was so flabbergasted, and I had to respond to it, and I just had to seethe for like an entire hour over it. It's just the way these things go, and if you don't understand, you have a lot of growing up to do. I don't know.
Yeah, we all understand. We're the immature ones here.
That's right. Everyone else is the problem. Yeah, it's your fault for not understanding why I needed my me time.
It's a coming of age ceremony when you have your first big seethe.
Yeah. What a fucking disaster. Okay, so that's why I'm just not in it. That's why I'm not feeling it today. But it doesn't matter. You guys are our guests this week. And I was someone suggested I invite you on because you're running the Kickstarter for the anthology, right? Do you guys want to like introduce yourselves and tell us what your deal is?
Yeah,
they know who we are.
Okay, well, I'll introduce ourselves.
Well, you wait, Hoodie, you were on the all guests episode, right?
Yeah, one of the masses in that episode.
Yeah, you were. I remember you were in Team Red.
Actually, in that case, it was actually just me and one other guy, which that was slightly uncomfortable.
Yep, it sure was. But I remember.
Well, anyways, we are the two-person team behind KATO, however you want to pronounce it. And yes, as Ben alluded to, we are currently running a Kickstarter for the KATO Anthology, which both Ben and Gib are a part of, which is basically just a collection of short stories in all different styles and genres, about 80 pages. Definitely check it out. We just passed our stretch goal, literally, not our stretch goal. We passed our initial funding goal.
Yeah.
Just
on
last
the next
night.
day.
Yeah.
On the next day after. Yeah, 36 hours, I think it was around there. Yeah, it really fucking crushed it. There's a stretch goal, right? I didn't check, but you said you were going to add a stretch goal when you hit the goal, right?
Yeah, so
what's the first one?
We have a few stretch goals lined up and ready to go. We try to be pretty meticulous in the planning of this. But the first one that we just announced was a variant cover done by one of the included artists in the anthology, Nas. It is a sort of Bakuman homage to one of the covers that we both really like, which is Ashirogi, whatever the character's name was.
I was gonna ask. You guys are Zero and Hoodie, but together you are KATO. Is that a Bakuman thing? That was gonna be my first interview question.
And the answer is yes.
Okay, cool.
Well, yes and no. It's in some ways a happy coincidence, but obviously we both really big fans of that property. So I'm sure in some way it wormed its way in our subconscious. But
wait, so where does the name KATO come from?
It's largely a nonsense name, but in the anthology we do have we included a page which is a series of text messages that Zero and I had, I guess 4.5 years ago at this point, where we were trying to come up with a name, and the methodology behind it was it was kind of inspired by Trixie, to be honest, because Trixie had put out a video back then explaining why the name was Digibro and not Digi Does Anime or whatever, and the gist of it was that you don't want to tie your branding down to like one specific thing if you wanted to branch off. So the methodology going to our name was basically like, let's just come up with something that is short, catchy, simple, but does not limit itself to any specific property. We don't want to just be talking about fucking Naruto or whatever, or any specific anime. So it's basically just a bunch of nothing.
Wait, so what is KATO then? Initially, was it supposed to be a YouTube?
I was gonna ask which came first, the YouTube or the comics? Because you guys make comics.
Yeah, we do comics, but the YouTube was definitely first. I've always wanted to, before I even wanted to be a YouTuber, I wanted to be I don't even know if right now I necessarily want to be a YouTuber, but my main goal is to be a writer. So that technically came first, but my first comic came out after the YouTube channel because I am not an artist, I'm just a writer, so it was through the popularity and the funding of KATO that I was able to launch that.
Unlike me, who's been a comic book artist from day one.
That's not
Is that
true.
right?
It's
No?
not true at
Okay.
all.
No, that's true. I was making comics before I met you.
It is okay. You are an artist
Oh.
in the way that the author of One Punch Man is an artist, except you lacked all
Oh my
of
God, that's such
the
a horrible.
writing
That's so cruel. That's such a cruel thing to say.
And it's accurate. However, one is a genius. So thank you.
Right. You're right. You're right. You're both right. Oh, okay. Sick. You showed me. I've seen. You have the one comic called Embers, and then the other one that I read of yours was the one about the Espion, right? Which I think is not finished. But Embers is a complete story.
First one that came out was called Always Tomorrow, which is a sort of a apocalyptic Pokemon fan fiction.
Yeah.
Which is I like. I think it's a pretty good first couple chapters, but unfortunately, just looking at it, it was going to cost me a ton of money to make to hire the artist, and also not make any money in return because it's Pokemon and I can't monetize that. So I was very limited in my options for that. So unfortunately, that series just had to get put on indefinite hiatus until I'm rich as fuck. So after that, I was kind of at a loss for what to do, and that's when Webtoons announced they were doing this short story contest, which was basically that anyone could post on their Canvas or Discover or whatever it's called, the basically where you put amateur comics, and they were going to pick a bunch of short stories in 2 different categories and give out like $15,000 in rewards. So I found an artist who liked a script I had written, luckily was willing to work, for a very modest rate, and I put that together. So yeah, Embers is a completed short story, and in my opinion, it's pretty good.
I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Actually, I wanted to talk about not Embers too much, but I wanted to use Embers to talk to Gib about something, because Embers, because it was for a contest and we had a very strict deadline, we were actually coming up on the wire on that, and I had to rewrite the ending entirely because we just didn't have enough time to make it work. I think, Gib, correct me if I'm wrong, you had a similar thing happen with the Tezuka Awards, right? You had to rewrite Clarissa?
Oh, yeah, I was drawing the Clarissa thing. I had written out like, oh, this is going to be a fun little short story, but I don't have like much experience understanding how much comic page a page of script becomes usually. So it was too long, and the maximum page limit was coming up, so I had to like chop it off. I had to like stop the story at a point where it could potentially end, and it's a bad ending. Instead of it being like it's a bad ending, and then it's like Clarissa gets thrown in jail, and then there's a joke, and that's the end. Well, instead of beating the bad guy,
it's just the all is lost moment. It's the what's the second Star Wars? It's the Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes. Yeah.
So
and there's more that happens after that I didn't end up drawing.
So did you write this out as a script, soon. Like as a screenplay, or?
I can't really remember. I think I definitely had a Google Doc of like what happens. I was trying to figure out like plot points and stuff. I could check, but I think with regards to it being like a script, like everything being written down, I don't think I had that. I think I had some basics, and then I sort of made up the dialogue on the fly. I knew what was going to happen, but I don't know how they were going to say the things. And not as well planned as The Lord of Ghosts, but it's all right.
It is absolutely bizarre to me how common that is among people who draw their own comics, because as someone who just writes, well, first, all of my informal education is in screenwriting, so all of my scripts are written in a screenplay format. So I was relating to the fact that like, sometimes I wrote a 14-page script for Embers, and that ended up being super, super long just because I thought that would be short. I thought 14 pages of a screenplay, that's, I could probably do that in 3 chapters. That's not too crazy. Massively wrong. It took a lot of panels to cover all that. And it's not even like an action comic. So massive difference in mediums there.
I don't think I would ever script out a comic, because that's just not how I conceptualize things. When I have an idea, I see it. I visually see it in my head. I don't think about like.
I mean, I
don't think about like the words.
It's...
So I don't. Yeah. I don't like write it out. I see it and then I'll draw it, and then I think of what the words are later.
I write it out only so that, because like I also have like flashes in my head of like, this shot would be great. This panel, I want something to lead up to this panel, and then I have to think about like story structure, like, okay, beginning, middle, end, you know, all that shit. Like, it's got to have, you got to set things up so that they come back later, and it's like everything is there for a reason. You don't want to meander. You don't want to have a bunch of bullshit in there that has no relevance to the climax or whatever. And so I just say, okay, so this happens, and then this happens, and I get the basic plot points. For the Lord of Ghosts, I did script out the dialogue, just because I wanted some lore to be explained, and I wanted to figure out what was the least lame way to do that. I wanted to like write it out just so that it felt like a conversation, and that it wasn't like exposition-y. Like I would write something and realize I don't want them to talk for that long. I need something to happen here, so that, like, I don't know, something noise happens at the window and they get interrupted or whatever. It's just like something to interrupt the flow, so it's not just a big block of text. That's usually why I would go into writing the script dialogue.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe this this style of just unscripted, not freestyling necessarily, but a little more freeform, is a little easier for you, Ben, because you do the vapors, because that's, you know, this so light on plot. It's just, there's a lot of variance and there's a lot of room to sort of mess around with how structure is played with. But I wonder if maybe that wouldn't work as well for the Champion, because Champion seemed like it was going to have a larger sort of narrative overarching story.
Yeah, even so, I still didn't like write out any scripts or anything. I just had kind of like a plot outline, like this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and it was a matter of like, I don't know. I don't write anything like dialogue wise until I've drawn the picture, and then when I see what they're doing, I can imagine what are they saying while they're doing this. Yeah.
Is that usually accurate right off the bat? Like, do you have the first line of dialogue and that's usually the last line of dialogue, or is that like, are you readjusting the bubbles constantly?
I don't do any. Oh god, I don't know. It depends. It depends. I'll just fit text wherever I need to, and usually I have an idea like, okay, in this bubble that she's gonna have to say a lot, so I'll leave like a bunch of space. But I don't like have it. I don't know exactly what. I just have an idea like, she can probably get this across in like 2 sentences. I need to go to the bathroom all of a sudden, so I'm sorry. I will be right back.
Should we just keep going, or should we stop?
Can just...
Yeah, I got something. I found my Google Doc folder of the Tezuka one-shot planning. I think initially Clarissa wasn't a fully formed character in my head, and I needed to figure out what type of person she is. So I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got 11 overall documents that have like outline volume 1, brainstorming, what is Clarissa, outline version 2, plot points, and then there's like world building for the Wild West place that she lives in, and it's all stuff that I should read again, but I never will. I never look at my own notes.
There was this one panel in the Clarissa comic that I really, really liked, which was, I don't know which page it was, but it was this dramatic pose where it was the camera was like lowered and she was just saying "shut up" while she pointed a gun to someone. I thought that was perfectly, in my opinion, representative of why I like your comics and why, you know, I wanted you in the KATO anthology so bad, which is that like you. I hope this doesn't come across the wrong way, is your art is not like the most mind-blowingly technically amazing art in the world, but I do think you have a really solid eye for clean paneling, you know, interesting poses. I think you put a lot of thought into like the occasional action shot that I thought was really, really good. And particularly with Lord of Ghosts, I was really surprised with, beyond that, when that first couple pages of the comic was so it was so emotional, and maybe not. Like I really immediately fell in love with the character, with the Lord of Ghosts character. So I thought, like, that, to me, your Lord of Ghosts comic is the perfect blend of every talent Gibb has, which is that it is these simplistic, you know, charming character designs, the occasional really badass panel, and then suddenly this amazing heartfelt story about this like really touching character.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I feel like I do put a lot of thought into everything. I remember while I was streaming the drawing of the Clarissa comic, I would have revelations, and then I would just feel the need to explain. You see, I'm putting this panel here because like there's like 2 viewers. I was like, you see, this is the reason for this. Is sort of, it implies like I'm thinking of theming when I'm drawing like panels and locations of characters. I love everything that I'm doing for it to like have a purpose for being the way it is. And if I can think of one, if I'm just drawing something and it just so happens to be like relevant if you think of it in a certain way, then I'm like, yes, fuck yeah, it's the coolest thing ever. It's all linked, it's all deliberate, even though it's kind of made up in the moment. But
that's relatable.
I think that's just how art usually is like,
yeah,
not everything is planned ahead of time. You have to be making it at the same time. I feel I've done a lot of planning and for other things, then I make it and it's different. I mean, the Lord of Ghosts had different dialogue every time I would come up to a point where they would say the line that I had written. It's the same amount of text because I made the speech bubbles the right size for the thing, but then I'm like, you know what, this is a cringe way to say it. I should rearrange, I should change what they say, and I don't want to redraw all the speech bubbles, so I just make it work.
Right. I mean, if for fans of Lord of Ghosts, if you pick up the KATO Anthology, you will see that 99% of the same is the same pages that were, you know, on your website and everything, but there's like just 2 small changes to the dialogue and stuff. So, you know, I think art is like a really malleable form, and I'm like huge into planning, right? So I like, unlike Ben, I do script out all of my comics. I do script out every story I write. I also outline, I write pitch documents. You know, the story I'm working on right now, I have like 30 pages of stuff. And then also I'm currently writing 25 pages of stuff, like 30 pages of outlines and then 25 pages of the actual story. So like, I am very heavy into planning, but even doing that, you know, I open up my document and I start actually typing out the story and things change. And I'm like, that I can't find a line of dialogue to make this work. Maybe I need to change the scene a little bit. Maybe I need to put another character in here.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even consider this, you know, XYZ, whatever. Things are super malleable when you actually start writing.
It's like, because, you know how like a sketch or a first draft, it's hard to write the first time, but once you're reading it, you can realize what could be improved. And when you have all the different pieces there, like when I get to a point where I've got the sketch of the drawing of the page, and I have the dialogue from before, and I put them together, I realize the dialogue could be improved, or maybe I should leave this revelation for the next page and then move the panel away, and then change or add a different panel to make up for the space. And, you know, when you're looking at something that does exist, it's easier to edit it to make it good. When you're planning it, you're always imagining what it looks like in the end.
I think one of the things that changes the easiest is the way scenes transition into each other, right? So when you're planning something, you kind of, at least I don't think too much about like the overall weave. I don't like, well, you know, overall structure is definitely important, but I don't think of like, how am I going to make this scene scene 1 connect to scene 2 in an interesting way? I just kind of think, well, here's scene 1 and here's scene 2, and I'm gonna start working on scene 3. But when you're actually writing, you're like, is there anything I could do to make this, like, can I put an interesting cut right here? Can I make a matching piece of dialogue? Can I, you know, have these scenes reflect each other in some way? And there's a lot of different ways you had to think about, you know, interconnectivity, and you had to think about segues and natural transitions, and interesting ways to cut between things. I think that's the type of stuff that ends up getting changed when I'm actually writing the most. Zero, what about you? This is, from my understanding, Zero, this is the comic coming out in the KATO Anthology is your first real, quote unquote, real written work. Am I wrong or no?
That is correct.
What was the process for writing?
Well, initially, I wanted to go in, or I went into this wanting to do an excerpt from this story. And initially it was going to be an entirely separate excerpt, but then I realized, wow, action, it takes up a lot of time, doesn't it? So
yeah, we were interesting. We were working in an interesting time frame, or not a time frame, but like a page limit, which is that because this was all self-funded and because neither of us are artists, we did have to hire someone. So it was very much working within specific constraints, which honestly, in my opinion, tends to breed creativity. But correct me if I'm wrong. This is, you originally had like a shootout scene, and now we just have a dialogue. Can you just pitch the people what exactly your comic is?
Sure. So Queenside is like a battle shonen superhero parody. It's about this group of, 3 young individuals who sort of get roped into Zeus's ambition. And Zeus, like the ringleader, her philosophy, her nindo, is to surpass the old Titans. That's also something, there's no way to say this without sounding a little pretentious, but that's something I'm attempting to do with this story. I want it to, be the next One Piece.
Dude, same. It always feels like that.
That's such a dangerous ambition, though.
You gotta try, though.
Speaking about, like, loads of planning, there's, like, hundreds at this point of Google Docs in my folder for webcomics, ultimately to set up the biggest, coolest story with all the characters that I've written, all of them, and they're all gonna be in One Piece, but it's gonna be written by me instead, and I'm gonna be, and it's gonna have all of these interconnected lore things that don't mean anything yet, because I don't fucking know what they mean, but they will mean something, and people will be able to go back and say, "Oh, Pog, chapter 1 of Balejape." It's like it sets up the whole thing. It's every artist wants to do that. Everyone.
Yeah,
I think
it's the coolest.
That is exactly what I was just thinking, which is that it's the ultimate comic gambit, which is that you have such this great ambition that probably is not going to work. It's just being honest. No one. There's a reason. There's only One Piece, right? There's no reason not everyone's doing that. But if it does, you look like the genius. It's the type of thing they make documentaries about. It's the type of thing people will be like, can you believe he was working on this for 30 years? And can you believe that she in Balejape chapter 1 it did this and that paid off 30 years down the line, like Oda with the fucking Laboon? It's the ultimate comic writer's gambit.
Have you guys seen Fully Cooley?
I have not.
Yeah.
I didn't watch season 2.
What the fuck? Well, I haven't seen season 2 either. I don't care about that. The bit where Nina Mori gets hit with the Vespa, and then later at dinner when all the family is eating the curry, the Little Prince curry that's too spicy, and then she gets sick, she gets diarrhea or something, and her face goes all and she has to go to the bathroom because she's having a delayed onset like stress reaction. That's me. That's what I just had to do in the bathroom right now, and getting hit. But for me, getting hit with a Vespa was taking an L on Twitter. It was so traumatic that it made me sick, and I'm probably gonna have to go back again.
I was thinking that
fucking seas shits.
Man, Ben's been gone for a long time.
So I'm sorry. I'm gonna try and cope. I'm gonna try and cope while I seethe, but I don't know if I can do it.
It's because you're so unused to feeling an L. You're not inoculated to the L virus, and it's like doing severe damage.
If that girl got hit with Vespas more often, she wouldn't have had any issues.
It's like what's the It's like at the end of oh god, what was it called? Dr. Horrible. You guys know Dr. Horrible?
Oh, sing along blog.
Yeah, the Dr. Horrible sing along blog when Captain Hammer feels pain for the first time.
Yeah.
When he gets that's me. I'm Captain Hammer. I'm Captain Hammer looking at my, what does he get, like shot in like the chest or something? He gets shot somewhere and he starts like screaming on the ground like mommy. That's me, but it's because I took
Well, I think the solution here is that you need to take more L's.
Oh yeah, you think so?
Let's up the Twitter L game. You know, start.
It's time to cringe post every pony.
You guys were saying every artist wants to make the next One Piece. My ambitions are more like I want to make the next Cerebus, which is to say a like weird piece of art that like that like clearly doesn't know what it's doing and meanders for like 17 years, and everyone now just goes, you know, Cerebus? Yeah, that was really weird, but boy, he sure did make it for a long time. I feel like that's
literally you
that's
right
also
now.
a goal.
Yeah, yeah.
You've already made it. You've been working on you've had 3 chapters of the Vapors over 8 years.
Well, it's because I don't work on it, because I have all these other weird flights of fancy that I have to do instead.
This is interesting.
Sorry, I'll let you go in a second, but what I was saying before about envisioning it and seeing it visually in my head so I don't script anything, that's true of like the game too. Like I saw what the game would look like in my head and I was like, that's what it has to be. And like right now I'm working on I'm putting cutscenes in and I don't know what the dialogue is. I just like, I'll make the cutscene, I'll make the characters move around the screen, and then it'll be like, okay, here's where a dialogue box pops up. The cutscene's already made. What am I actually going to have him say? I guess he'll say clickety 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 click.
Well, wait.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that works. Okay, next.
Do you envision that there is a cutscene, but not even that there is some information that needs to be delivered to the player? Like
no,
you don't have even that?
I envision that there is a cutscene and there is dialogue, but I don't
there's no reason for it to exist other than that you can see a cutscene.
No, it's not that. It's that I'm like, okay, at this point in the game, it would make sense, you know, there would be a scene, there would be a little cinematic scene, and, you know, plot would be conveyed through dialogue.
I wonder if maybe you approach this from a tone and pacing perspective, as opposed to like a sort of necessary plot perspective, right? So like, it seems like you're saying it would feel right for the game to have a cutscene here, because that will help the tone and pacing. But I don't know what that cutscene's about, and I don't know how it's going to progress the plot structure. And that's just not really a concern.
No, I don't think I'm explaining this well. I know what it's going to be about, because I have a very clear idea of what the story of the game is. So I know, like, what beats need to be hit along the path from the start to the end.
Well, that's what I was
asking.
Then
I'm thinking, like, okay. Yeah, so then I'm thinking, like, okay, this part is where we can hit that beat, and then we can hit that beat right here, and then I know in this beat, you know, Phantom Horn encounters such and such, you know, they interact in such and such way, you know, they'll talk, and I know generally what they're gonna say. I don't know the actual words they're gonna use until I write them.
I think this is an interesting topic, because I wanted to ask a question, just a sort of thought-provoking question, which was that if money were no object, what is all of our artistic dream projects? But I wanted to specifically ask you, Ben, is your end goal to be someone who makes comics, or is it to be someone who makes games? Because it seems like, and this is just a feeling, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
This is just a feeling, but it feels like you make comics because you're good at it and it's pretty marketable. But I get the impression that you have a lot and maybe even more passion to just making the occasional game or two.
I don't really care like what medium I'm working in. I don't know. I just the reason why I'm making a game right now is because when I thought about how does this story end, I just envisioned it happening as a game, and so I was like, well, I guess I got to do that. I mean, I plan to make more comics in the future. I'll fucking do whatever. I don't care. I probably wouldn't. I was gonna say I probably wouldn't do like prose writing because it's not very visual, but I guess I wouldn't like never say never about that. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I have a preference one or the other. I mean, I think the reason why I started making comics was just because I just think I thought comics were cool, and I kind of had some of the skills necessary for making them. So I was like, I guess I'll just do that. Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah. Okay. Someone else.
Me. The question was like if you had unlimited budget or something.
Yeah, just like if there was no reason, if there was no limitations on like practicality or time or whatever, I guess the larger question here is like, what is the end goal of your artistic ambitions? You know,
artistic.
Yeah, it's odd because a lot of the time I think of the things that I want to make, and I see my characters, but just in the place of the feeling of reading or watching or playing a thing that I have already played. So like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I made Homestuck? Like, that's the way I think. Wouldn't it be cool if I made One Piece? Wouldn't it be cool if like I made my favorite PS2 games? And I'm like, I don't really know. Other than like, I guess it's a weird question to answer for me because it's like, why'd you make art? I don't know. Sometimes I look at the stuff I make and it's cool, and I want to do that again. When I think of like, if I had all the resources, I guess I would pay people because I don't feel like I'm good enough to make the things in my head reality, and I would need a team. Like I could make a Ghibli film. I could make a classic PS2 game. I could make all these things, but they would be with my characters in them, and then I would have the say. It's kind of childish now that I think about it.
You just want the credit, actually.
Well, it's not that I don't want any creative input, because obviously the point of it being by me is that it's my idea of a story, and I don't know. Why create anything? Because I feel like it. If I had all the resources, I would make bigger things than I am currently able to do with just myself. And that wouldn't be... It's not like I have a passion for a specific craft or trade. I like drawing, but I'm not very good at it, and I don't have a lot of patience for learning because I'm stupid. So I'm improving, but slowly. I also like all these other things that I'm like dipping my toes into every profession ever, creative profession, I mean. And, you know, it would be cool to make games. It would be cool to make animations or music or you know, all these things. Drawing just seems to be the easiest one because right now, all I need for that is a drawing tablet of some kind. And, duh. Do I make comics?
I think...
I don't even read that many comics. I do like mine, though.
Yeah. Same. I don't read enough.
I do think there's this sort of cultural obsession with being the artist, being the director, or being the writer, or some sort of like having a really direct control, hands-on with a, you know, artistic product or whatever. But I do think one of the lesser aspired to positions, but talk to any professional and it'll be one of the most important, is the role of like an editor or the role of a producer, which is that like this person is not necessarily, you know, quote unquote creating the art, but they are invaluable to the process, at least in like larger scale productions. And they, in my opinion, it is still very artistically satisfying. Like 90% of this anthology has nothing to do with anything that I technically created. I wrote one comic and I helped with Zeros a little bit, but other than that, it was just the process of recognizing talent in other people, collecting information from different people, providing slight input on what might need changed or how things can fit, and like basically just the act of producing this anthology, even though I wasn't involved with a lot of the artistic process for most of it, still felt incredibly artistically satisfying. So I do think more people would be it would behoove more people to really think about the artistic process in a less specific focus lens of just I am a writer, I am an artist, or I'm a director, or so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, if it turns out that like ultimately I would be heading a project to make my things that I just like I don't need to be the one to draw all of my comics or all of my ideas. I definitely design them first, and then they would draw them better. But yeah, I guess the way I see art that is fulfilling for me is a way for me to communicate emotions, feelings, ideas, things like that through any medium. And usually just the mediums that I personally enjoy experiencing, which is like comics and animation and games. I probably wouldn't write prose because I don't like reading. I probably wouldn't, do, I don't know, fucking TikToks because I don't like those. I don't care about that. But the thing that would like get me to want to continue is the ability to be making the decisions. I don't like the idea of working hard for someone else's vision, and I feel like I know a lot of people who are exactly the same, which is unfortunate because the world does need a lot more like managers and people who can organize these idiots we are and put us into a place where we'll actually make the things we're trying to make. Producers and stuff like that. It's just I'm just selfish. I just want my thing. I want my thing on there.
Ugh. I think I have to go to the bathroom again. I'll be back.
Oh.
I'm dying. I'm dying so much. I'm sick. I'm ill. I'm wasting away. No,
Ill with a capital L.
I'll be fast this time. I promise.
Well, let me use this as a transition point, and this is better to talk about while Ben's not here because Ben will just go on an angry tirade. Gib, I wanted to talk about Kickstarters, and obviously you guys have a lot going on with Trixie and all that, and divorced from those issues.
Oh yeah, well whatever.
Oh, we can talk about it if you want to. I don't mind. I just didn't, I wanted to ask, I wanted to get some input into, because this is our first Kickstarter, and this is the first time we're doing anything even remotely related to this. There's a lot that we don't know about, like, what's going to happen. We don't know about the obstacles we don't know about yet. So I was wondering if I could get some insight into some of the first Kickstarters you ran individually, you ran for, like, RadCons and stuff, and some of the things that, like, notably went wrong. And not including the whole Trixie debacle.
Okay, yeah. I don't have as much direct experience with the Kickstarters as Ben does, because Ben has had a number. How many? Is it 2 or 3? There's the RFCK pins thing, as well as the Vapors Chapter 1 and 2 physical books. Those were all successful. Those were great. Ben would obviously know how to do it properly. I did one Kickstarter attempt, which was like aiming too high, and it didn't get funded. For like the Punk plushie.
It was the plush, right?
Yeah, the Punk plush Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Still on the table, like in the far future. It's never not going to be possible. I just need more of a precedent that people would have the money, and also there are enough of them, because people did want those, but there's just not enough people. I guess what could go wrong for like the Radcon stuff, especially Radcon 4, less so Radcon 3, I think. It was the stretch goals got out of hand on Radcon 4. Not that far out of hand, but it was just sort of, we were streaming, right? During the end of the Kickstarter, we streamed because the hype machine really gets people going. And people wanted to pledge because they could watch the stream and watch our reactions to it reaching higher and higher heights. And we ran out of stretch goals. And so we started making shit up. And, some of them, I think the Radcon for animated OP was one of the ones we came up with on the fly, I think. I'm not sure.
No, that's not true. No. The animated OP was one of like the long-standing.
Was it? Okay. I guess that one was just like we didn't quite know how that was going to be possible. We just thought it was a cool idea.
And
we didn't realize how much money it would cost.
I don't agree. No, we did. We totally did.
But we didn't have like a set amount of money set aside for like the anime. We hadn't.
You're technically right, but I feel like the spirit of what you're saying is wrong, because no, we didn't know exactly how much it was going to cost, but like we knew it was going to cost some money to get done, and we knew it was going to take a while to get done.
I mean,
and we were right.
I'm just saying,
yeah.
We did not even have like any contacts by the time that was part of the Kickstarter. We didn't know who we could contact to get it.
Yeah,
exactly. And so after the Kickstarter ended, we started looking around, and I feel like that was a mistake. We should have looked around before and gotten like a better idea. I mean, we knew it was going to take a while.
I don't know.
Like,
you're talking as though a mistake was made.
Well, I don't know. I just feel like, as general advice, it would be better to have a plan of action of how to, like, how to make the stretch goals real, so that there is no chance. There's less of a chance that things could be, unexpectedly more expensive.
I mean, you're right. You're right, but the OVA animation is not a good example of that.
Okay,
because that is a success, and it will it will be a success. It will be successfully executed.
True.
But
what is the status on that?
It's finished, but the OVA itself is not edited.
Yeah, it is finished.
Nate is on that, so that'll be out at some point.
Nate is on it. Nate is on it, but he was busy for a while, and he couldn't work on it. But I think he is freer to do so now. So it is.
Yeah, well, all that content, really took up his schedule.
yeah. I don't know exactly why, but yeah, Nate says he's like more able soon to work on all of the things that need to get edited, including the OVA and the Brad lecture and the music video.
Mm-hmm. The stuff that we came up with on the fly was the I think it was
the Dojin.
The Dojin was definitely one. Maybe the print version of Road to Radcon in book form might have been one that we came up on the fly. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But the Dojin definitely was. The Dojin definitely was.
I think having plenty of feasible stretch goals ahead of time is an important thing. Obviously, because if you have to make stuff up on the fly, there's a chance it could go wrong.
Even though I don't feel like it had like terrible consequences or anything, it probably wasn't a great idea to just make shit up on the top of our heads. But it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, my second Kickstarter, the Vapors 2. I mean, there came a point when I just kind of started making up joke stretch rewards because I didn't have anything.
The Oculus Rift.
I started doing the like.
That was funny.
That was the first one. Yeah, the first Kickstarter had the Oculus Rift Kickstarter or had stretch goal, which we hit, and which I bought an Oculus Rift, and which we ended up using at Radcon 4. So some content came of that. And then, the one for Vapors 2, I just started making shit up about that Slime and Punishment character Uwupity. It just was like send him to college, send him to rehab.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised it worked as well as it did, because that went pretty far. I think
people
just leave off with him not being able to go to rehab.
I believe he didn't make it to rehab. He didn't. No,
tragic.
Canonically, and this is canon because I say it is. If Christine Weston Chandler had just retweeted the Kickstarter, we would have reached enough for Uwupity to go to rehab, but she callously ignored its plight. And so it saw no other alternative but to hurl itself into the Slimoid dissolve vats in the slime corp laboratories, tragically. But then, of course, the timeline split again when two different characters appeared to rescue it from its fate. So, you know, it all gets very convoluted.
What the fuck even is slime and punishment?
It's just some bullshit. Don't worry.
It was a small joke.
No, that's good. That's gonna be
became the biggest thing ever.
Yeah, my next Kickstarter that I'm gonna do is when Slime and Punishment is done. I'm gonna make a book version and sell that. That's the next. That'll probably be this year. I don't see why it would take longer than that. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, I don't know. The thing about stretch goals is that like everyone kind of understands that they're just sort of there to generate hype. Like, it's not with a stretch goal, you don't really have to justify like the price. Like, I don't know. You don't have to be like, okay, this stretch goal, if I make exactly, you know, another $1,000, the next stretch goal is something that will cost me exactly $1,000. People just want to hit stretch goals just for the hype factor. And even if like the thing that it gives you is like very insubstantial, like even if it's just like, oh, we'll make the cover glossy. Like, nobody really cares if the cover is glossy, but that's like a perfectly acceptable.
Like, what sort of
person?
What sort of person would like not donate to a Kickstarter unless a specific stretch goal is reached, like a glossy cover or something like that?
Yes, you're browsing Kickstarter, you see the KATO Anthology, you think, I'm on the fence about this one. Oh, I see that if we reach the next stretch goal, the cover will be cardstock, glossy cards. I'll come back when we reach that one. I'm not investing until we get that goal. No, it's just not how it works.
Yeah, I think we have.
By the way, I saw that
two.
I'm sorry. The delay. I saw that it got the mark of the Kickstarter approval, the Project We Love stamp on it, which was pretty cool. And also, it's like close to the top of the anthologies list. Like if you browse anthologies on Kickstarter right now, KATO Anthology is like number like 3 or 4 or 5, so it's in like the top couple rows.
Yeah, the highest I saw it was number 3, but I don't really know how that worked. Like, I don't even know how they organize this at all, because now we're at number 6. So fuck them.
I think it's some kind of weighted thing where like probably the fact that it made its goal like really fast pushed it up a little bit in the algorithm, I think. And probably also the fact that they gave it Project We Love, which I have no idea how they decide what to give the Project We Love stamp. My first Vapors Kickstarter got it, but neither of the other ones that I did got it. Vapors 2 didn't get it, and the RFCK Pin Kickstarter did not get it.
I wonder if the second Vapors was too with all the slime stuff, maybe that was just too weird for them to sign, because there's probably like some sort of liability there. Like they want to be careful about who they give it to. I
don't think so, because I didn't add that stuff in until like way later, like until I was adding like late stage stretch goals. So I don't think that would have done it. The RFCK one I totally understand, because it literally has fuck in the name, and so probably they might. Yeah. That one I get. That one I am like, that makes sense. Let me tell you my genius idea. My genius idea though, to double dip, right? Because being a successful artist is all about double dipping and extracting as much profit as you can out of as little work as you can. So I'm going to double dip on the RFCK pin Kickstarter, because now, since I have all these extra pins from that Kickstarter, I can offer that stuff. I can offer the coins and the pins and the patches and stuff as bonus rewards on the Slime and Punishment book, because it's all related. It's the same canon. It's the same setting. It all connects. It's like a spider web. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
I gotta be honest. I am a little jealous at how successful Ben Saint Kickstarter lore is. It's just like you have these
Honestly,
these pins and everyone's really hype about them, and then I failed, man. I still feel bad about it. I gotta have a successful Kickstarter one of these days. I gotta make something.
to be fair, the pins did not actually make very much money. Like most of what we made on the Kickstarter went back into like it made a little bit, but like most of it did. We didn't like keep most of that as profit or anything. But
I
think,
think,
the second Vapors one was a huge success, and like I couldn't believe how successful it was actually. I was shocked. And the other synergy, I did a similar synergy with Vapors 2 because with Vapors 1 I ordered 500 copies, which was more than I needed because there was a price break at 500, and I did that knowing that if I kickstarted number 2, I could offer the extras of number 1, which I had paid less for because the lower price point because of the price break at 500. I could offer that as like bonus rewards, and that's exactly what it did. I didn't have to make any new copies of Vapors 1. I just had like hundreds of them left over, and it was almost I literally have like only like 20 copies left of Vapors 1 because the number that I ended up selling with the Vapors 2 plus Vapors 1 was like exactly 500 or really close to it. It was just like mwah, mwah. It was bellissimo. It worked out. Yeah. It worked like a dream.
That's pretty clever. I wanted to say, Gib, I do think a plush just happens to be a pretty niche product. I guarantee you, if you kickstarted any of your comics, it would be. Within reason, it'd be successful.
The problem with the plush Kickstarter was just that it had a high price point.
Yeah.
The like a comic is cheap. Like my like 40 page Vapors comic. I think the basic tier was like $15 plus shipping for the book. And that's just that's a low floor. With the plush, what was it, like $40 or something? It was a big initial hurdle for people to jump through to get it.
It's Lord of Ghosts isn't technically finished yet. There's still like Act 3 they need to make. I guess.
Yeah.
I've been wondering about whether it would be like a good or a bad idea to like package Act 1 and 2, what currently exists, and then make that a book. Because I feel like
that's what I was thinking.
It would be like possible. I just like the idea of it all being in one. Like, the whole Lord of Ghosts, all like 190 pages or whatever.
That's really long though.
It's already like 90 pages, so who knows?
Oh my god.
I mean, you could always just reprint it as a completed book once you're done. I think you could do a Kickstarter for the first part and just say that this is going towards the funding of doing more. And at that point, you are not only getting people who want a physical copy of Lord of Ghosts, you also are getting people who just want more comic and therefore see it as desirable to give you money. And then, just reprint it again at a later date once you have the entire thing as like some sort of deluxe edition or whatever.
Yeah. It makes more sense, I guess. I could do that. It all exists. Why not?
All right, Lord of Ghosts Kickstarter launching tomorrow. Link in the description.
Oh god, now I've got to think. Now I've got to think about stuff. Well, all right, yeah, that'll be good.
I've got to think about stuff. Sorry, I hope a topic change isn't unwelcome. But speaking of stuff that you got to think about, I'm losing my house. And that's fucking epic.
Damn.
Talk about L's.
Yeah.
That's only the second biggest L of today.
They saw your tweet and there's honestly, the lease is up. Get out.
Losing my house. In here. Losing my house, no reaction. Taking an L on Twitter, it's like I gotta go punch a wall. I get stress diarrhea. I'm
gonna throw up.
Yeah, it's be like that. I gotta move. I gotta move in like 2 months, and I don't know where I'm going. And my rent is gonna go up because there's no way I can find the places.
Considered an RV.
I stole an RV, so, but it's condemned. It was condemned.
Well, like haunted?
Yeah, it was haunted. It was bewitched, you might say.
Haunted by the soul cursed. Of Trixie's career.
You got him. You killed him. But no, I can't live in that. No, it's cursed. It's out of the question. So yeah, I gotta find a new house, and my rent's gonna go up, and I'm sad about it. I'm a little stressed about it. What do you guys think? Homelessness? Pretty cool?
I don't know.
Are we pro or anti?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty cringe. Pretty sus to be homeless.
Ooh,
No, I think it's pretty base.
Thank you, Zero. Someone had to say it.
Yeah, I can't. I can't
I'm
take.
named after my number of possessions.
I can't take the idea that once homeless, I would be cringe. I just have to think it's based. It must be.
I saw that artist did the Zero and Hoodie like drawing of you two. By the way, I saw you retweeted it. That was a really cool piece.
Which one are you referring to?
Oh god, who did it? It was
Was it like the little chibi things, or was
yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
yeah, those are fucking dope. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna. I need to use that for something, because the aesthetic of those of that piece is just insane.
Put that in the frickin' like bonus page or something.
Yeah, that's a good.
I gotta put that here in the chat for Eleazar. Show that one on the frickin' video by Nas by Nas in the Sky. But,
yeah, who also did our stretch goal variant cover and is in the comic. She does pretty excellent like slice of life manga.
I have a question. I don't think Gib asked this while I was gone. How did you choose what to include? What was your criteria?
Oh yeah.
Well, you two got invited because we're just both huge fans of your work.
Right. Even though my work is shit,
Yes.
I was grandfathered in.
Yeah.
That's just how I like it.
The 6 other people all paid us lots of money to get in.
Nice.
Epic.
That's how those was.
The Kickstarter was
all
a
of
ruse.
All of which you then turned
100%
around
corruption.
and gave to me for the privilege of putting my stuff in there. So it was the circle of life.
We had to, it's like getting a new credit card to pay off the old credit card. We had to pay you, so we had to get them to pay us. It was a lot of work.
That's
the
right.
real answer is,
just to clarify, all the contributors got paid for their contributions, right? Right. Okay.
That is something we are touting pretty heavily, is that regardless, even if this Kickstarter failed, everyone got paid. Everyone retains the rights to their comics. We didn't want to, this was never about, owning the Lord of Ghosts so that Gib couldn't run her Kickstarter tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
you had a whole fucking contract where it explained that you don't have the rights, but I give you permission to publish it in a thing. It's like, wow, that's like professional.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's like sensible.
Yeah, I think the terminology was like until the end of the universe or something, or like ad infinite. It was something like we have
like till death, like the till death of universe.
Yeah. That contract was just something I found online. Not to shatter the illusion of professionality, but yeah, that is just a basic template I found.
Fraud.
Well, that means it's.
But it does hold up in court, and I will sue anyone who tries to fuck us.
Good. That's right.
He's lying. He wrote it down as I dictated it.
The real answer to how we chose these is that we had we put out the announcement video saying like any 2 to 12 page comic can enter, and we had about 70 or 80 entries. I don't remember the exact number, but
damn,
we had
that's a lot of entries.
Ben, you were actually on the form. I had sent you an invite, so I don't know if I assumed you didn't want to help us choose, but you were allowed to. We did invite you.
Wait,
to do
really?
That. Yeah, that was like one of the first things I had told you about. You had asked me like you had asked to see if you'd asked to see the entries. I was like, oh yeah, sure. And if you want to help us pick, that's cool too.
You should have reminded me, because I have a vague memory that you did tell me that, but you could have asked me once or twice, like, hey Ben, do you want to weigh in on this? Because maybe I would have. I don't know.
I assumed you were busy
God.
by the fact that you had failed to deliver on the cover for 2 weeks.
Oh my god. Yeah, well, whatever. I'm sure you made great choices.
Yeah, I mean, I think the comics and the anthology are the criteria. We didn't have like a list of a rubric or anything, but we read through them all. We had narrowed it down to a fair amount that were good. We were deciding for a long time who was going to get in, and we had like, by the end of it, we had like 4 different lists, and we had decided on one, and it didn't include someone that we thought like maybe we just increased the number to 11 comics because we just liked their story so much.
Yeah.
It was incredibly difficult, but one of the things that we were looking for was that like we didn't want all the comics to feel the same. As you know, as people who make and consume art, we have our own interests, we have our own subjective things, and there are comics in the anthology that might not have been my particular interest, but I thought a story as varied and as wide appealing as I want this to be should have a comic that appeals to people who would like this story, even though it's not necessarily like my ideal aesthetic or whatever. What
gave you the idea to do like a community anthology in the first place?
I think anyone would have paid attention to this Kickstarter if it was just us.
Well, I don't know.
I think there is an answer that is true, but so the real answer is that there's a lot of practicality behind it, which is that
are you saying that like having more artists involved with it just gets more eyes on it? Is that the idea?
I think that was definitely 65% of why we did it. It started with the idea of for the first time I was just like, how much does it actually cost to print a comic? Because I've always just assumed it was super expensive. I didn't even want to bother. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's like $10. It's $10 per comic, basically. With a lot of variance and
depends on the page count and color and whatever. But it's something.
It was not wildly expensive like I thought. So I had considered, do I want to adapt Embers, which is written in like a scrolling webtoon format? Do I want to adapt that into a print thing? Because I kind of just wanted something to hold. And I decided, no, that's lame. And then I thought, well, we also kind of have had terrible success with raising money in the past. This is our first Kickstarter, but we do have a Patreon, which I think we are fairly bad at promoting, and it's something we've never really pushed too hard, and therefore it's not super successful. So there was my practical mindset was thinking like, it's going to be really embarrassing if I launch a Kickstarter for my own comic book and it fails entirely. So part of that was like, well, this would be a good opportunity to get the community together. This would be a good opportunity because one of the other things, and I say this in the Kickstarter description, is that like I am very heavy on the mindset of like just creating even if you don't necessarily have the skills. So constantly on the channel I'm telling people like, if you want to be a writer, just go write something. If you want to be if you want to make a video, go make a video or anything. I constantly tell people to do that. But one of the things that I think I am particularly aware of is that there is a financial element to making art. And not always. I mean, I think if you are very comfortable with the baseline of only doing things yourself, even if you absolutely suck, you can do it for free. At that point, it still takes time. But, as someone who has paid artists for all of their comics, I understand that like this is something that I can do because, I have a good amount of savings or, the channel makes a good amount of money or whatever. It's not something that everyone could do. So part of the anthology was like, for as much as I want to push this idea, it is also, I think a good thing for us to do is to help fund people who we think can do it. To go back to something I was saying a little while ago is that I find one of the most artistically satisfying things that I could do, and I don't know if everyone feels this way, is finding talent, identifying people who I think have the skills and helping them cultivate it, whether that means, like saying, hey, this little tweak to writing could make your story a little better, or like, hey, have you considered framing the panel this way, or even just saying, hey, do you need money to make this work? I find that stuff incredibly satisfying. So that
I wish more people asked me that question. I get you.
I do think I actually feel this way a lot about you, which is why I wanted to. You were the first person outside of Zero. You were the first person I reached out to about this. When this was back in November or December, like 6 months ago. I had asked you, I told you we had this idea and we wanted you involved in it because the fact of the matter is I do think the Vapors and the Champion and all of your work is incredible. And I do think, it seems like you are underrated for your skill set. So I thought if there was anything I could do to help out with that, even though I will say you are definitely bigger than me.
I'm always saying this. Go on.
I don't want to overstate our audience. We are not huge. We have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
You have a pretty big,
that...
like 100,000 subscribers is a big channel. You're like as big as Nate. You're bigger than Nate. We could go and kill Nate right now.
That's probably
you
not
might not
true,
be
though.
You probably might not be bigger than him.
Yeah, there's no way we could kill Nate.
No,
he's too big. He's too big.
He's too big. Yeah. Plus, have you seen his posture? It's incredible.
There's a line of people waiting to fuck Nate, and how are we gonna get past those guys?
Okay, but go on.
What I was gonna say is that Nate has the same size as audience as us by numbers, but his are way more passionate. His are way more dedicated to supporting him. You can see this in like Patreon numbers, average view count, whatever. We have a pretty large audience, but I think that's kind of just because we hit the algorithm a fair amount. Like we tend to make videos that YouTube likes, so we hit a wide net. But we don't have like the most dedicated core fan base. So in a lot of ways, I actually think the PCP, and your individual audiences kind of outweigh us in at least certain regards. So
I understand.
I don't want to make it seem like I'm just doing charity work here. I mean, like, I've come down from Mount Olympus to bestow this boon upon you. Congratulations, Ben.
I was gonna say, you talk about like, no one would pay attention if there weren't, and like, but it's like, but you have like 100,000 eyes on you. But I guess the YouTube audience is not necessarily the comic book Kickstarter backing audience.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
Like if you look at our Twitter accounts, our Twitter followers, you are like in the thousands, and we have like 500, which is fine. Like I'm not like complaining or anything, but it was reaching out to you was both a business decision, and like I feel like having someone who's done Kickstarters and does have a pretty good audience would be good for the comic. And also it was like, I think Ben is really cool, and I want to work with him, and I think I want to get his comic in front of as many people as possible. And then I reached out to Gib too later on, and I was like, I think The Lord of Ghosts is a fucking awesome comic, and if I could, Lord of Ghosts is too long to be in the anthology, but if we could figure out a way to make it work, I wanted it, and we luckily were able to.
Yeah, it's a very small slice, but it's a nice one.
Oh fuck! My headphones are about to die. Wait, no, they won't die though. I can prevent it. this time. When you told me that you were doing I like the idea of like a community project. I like the idea of a project that many different people contribute to. So I thought it was neat. And when you told me that, like, yes, we're looking to pay the artists that contribute, I was like, oh, okay. They're not just these guys aren't fucking around. This is serious. This is a professional endeavor. They have a professional attitude about it. So all the ingredients are there for a success, in my opinion. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll work with these guys. This seems good.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I wanted this to come across was like a grift or something, which is why I was like really adamant about the fact that every single person involved has the rights to their comic. We just want, like, the contract states that we could like republish it. That's only because, if we want to do more anthologies, if we want to reprint the first anthology, that we want that as an option. But like, I have no interest. I don't even want like sole publishing rights. Like, I hope Lord of Ghosts gets its own book. I hope you do that, Gib, on Kickstarter. That and I didn't want to do anything to impede that. And likewise for anyone else in the anthology, I never wanted to own anyone's comics. I wanted to pay them to get their story done because frankly, for the past 2 years, I've been trying to find anthologies that I could submit to, and there are not many, and they tend to be super specific, which is another thing about ours, which is that like maybe in the future there's going to be themes, like, we want comics around this idea or around this aesthetic. But right now, it was really just about like, submit whatever you want. If it's good, we want it, because I don't want a small crew. I want to empower as many creatives and artists and writers as I possibly could.
I am looking at the Kickstarter. It is, damn, that first day was a roller coaster. It's leveled off a little bit right now. This is how mine went to. I think all Kickstarters do this. They have a good first day, then they slow down for a while, and then you promote it where you can. Sometimes you get some new eyes on it. You get some new support there, and then you have another big push at the end. And that's when you hope that all the people that were like on the fence before come back and go, FOMO. if I don't submit now, if I don't pledge now, I'll never get to. I have to do it. You got me by the balls. And that's when you, yeah.
I have been worried that we might be a bit of a hot start, and then this is sort of the height of it, minus, give or take 100 or whatever. I honestly don't know how it'll go, or even what to expect.
I hope that maybe some people who had not checked it out before, because I've mentioned it on the show a bunch of times, but I hope maybe a few more people from listening to this will take a look at it. Obviously, the link will be in the description, and I don't know, just keep plugging it. Just keep yelling about it. Be obnoxious. It's fine.
Yeah, I will say that. We don't want to give out the number just yet because it's varies depending on, how many people of a certain tier or whatever. But we do have a stretch goal in mind that is, if we hit this number, we will get to work on the second volume now and, send out another calling card for artists to submit their comics. So I do, this is something we want to do.
You would just go right to volume 2.
If we got a certain number, which I will say is a pretty high number, because the fact of the matter is this took, we started 6 months ago. It took maybe the last 2 or 3 months of strong effort. We barely uploaded to the channel or anything. It was a long time of just solely focusing on this. And not to mention, because I wanted it to be that even if the Kickstarter failed, everyone got paid. This cost a lot of upfront money. It's definitely not something I could just continue to do unless this one is pretty successful, which, I'm not trying to guilt trip anyone, but if you're someone who makes comics, and we've gotten a couple messages like this, hey, this is just a bad time, or hey, I heard about this too late. This is something I want to do a lot of. So if that's something that interests you, if you want to just support anthologies like this in the future, or if, purely greed wise, you want to support it so you get another chance in the future, that is something worth considering.
That's the one. You got me pegged. Cool. Well, I'm really glad to see that it's funded. One way or another, it is funded now. So it's real. It's happening. Congratulations.
Again. A book, and I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna put it next to the Vapors.
Yep.
I really like having physical comics.
Part of me, I almost was like, I almost sent you a message like, hey, I get a free one, right? But then I was like, no, Ben, don't be a bitch. And I backed, I backed myself.
You know what? I did message Zero right after you had pledged. I was like, I wonder if we could scam Ben Singh, because he does get a free one, but he just pledged. Does he need 2 books? Why would he want 2 books?
It's, fuck it. Nah, fuck it.
No.
Half the reason I backed was just so I could take a screenshot of it saying you're a backer and tweet it just to prove, just to put my money where my mouth was a little bit.
That's a tax write-off right there. That's marketing. I
couldn't afford not to. Base. Yeah. All right. That's all. Good shit. I don't know, anything else to say about that, or should I complain about being homeless some more?
Well, I'd love to hear about your homelessness a little more. I did want to just at least mention this.
I'm scared of the elements. I'm gonna freeze. I'm gonna starve. I'm gonna die.
I did want to at least mention this just because it's been something I've been thinking a lot about recently. Is that recently the author or the mangaka of Berserk died.
Yeah, I heard about that, yeah.
I was going to bring this up as well.
Miura, right?
Kentaro Miura, yeah.
Yeah. I had read, the first, I've read what is it called? The Eclipse arc? Is that what the first part is called?
No, I think it's the Black Knight, the Dark...
The very first part...
Oh, the Black Swordsman?
The very first part is Guts going around with his big sword and he kills a few demons. Then there's the...
Guts going around...
The flashback to the thing that leads up to the eclipse.
The eclipse, I swear, the beginning of Berserk up until, spoilers, Griffith joining the God Hand.
That's
beginning. Called the Eclipse arc.
But it takes a very long time. It doesn't feel like the beginning of the comic.
Okay.
There's quite a lot of chapters.
But it goes on and on after that. Because I have not read further than that. I read the next chapter, the little next mini arc after that, and then I fell off. So I wasn't I wasn't keeping up with Berserk or anything, but I did really appreciate that first bit. It's very sad that he died before I completed it.
He was a fantastic artist, you know, like he was insane. Like just even if you don't watch the series, just looking at any manga panel from Berserk is like, this looks insane. It looks like this is probably took him a month to do this one panel. It is something that can be appreciated by anyone. Really,
he's the quality and quantity boy. He had like so many. I mean, you should definitely reread all of Berserk. You should read all of Berserk because it's not going to be continued
and then
anymore.
reread it again.
And then reread it again, because there is a lot of really, really incredible, like mind-shattering stuff that is like stuck with me forever. Beyond the Eclipse, there's just like, oh wow, Pog, you know, it's like a Pog manga. You read it and you just can't.
You're saying that it's a manga filled with real life Poggers moments.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's
very good.
It's really good. There's not really much other than like to say that it's like extremely accurately illustrated. Like he's really good at drawing people. He's really good at drawing expressions, action, like horses, armies, landscapes, buildings, like everything. He's just good at everything, and it all is incredible to look at. And it's so much of it. The boy worked incredibly hard, and it's really sad that he's dead at so young, 54 years old.
Right. One of the things I wanted to talk about was that from my understanding, and this could be wrong, so take it with a grain of salt, I did hear that this is like a stress-induced illness, and to me that is utterly tragic.
I mean, he did work a lot. From what I read, from what I pieced together, he seemed like kind of a recluse and was constantly working. Not that that's too different from, you know, any other given manga author in Japan. They work extremely long hours and they have very few breaks. And that's just the culture. That's just how it is. It's just what you gotta do. And I would not be surprised to learn that his lifestyle and his the speed at which he made all this stuff contributed to his death, which is really fucked up and sad.
But didn't he was slow, right? I thought people complained about him going on hiatus all the time. Or like missing weeks. Am I confused?
They did, because he did take months off, probably because he was working so hard when he was doing it, and he needed breaks, and people would constantly tell him, "You gotta not take breaks anymore," and he's like, "Okay." This
one
is
of the
what
things.
happens.
I mean, I'm sure we could all relate to this. Is that like, even when you're doing no work, if the you know, expectation is that you should be working a lot harder, doing no work is still fucking stressful. You know, like taking a day off sometimes is the most stressful thing I could do.
Yeah, I feel that all the time. Stress over not working. I mean, it's like the theme song says, "I'm supposed to be working right now." You all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't a procrastinator. He was a... When he was working on the things, it makes sense why they take so long. I feel like earlier on in his career, he would be like a beast of a human being, churning out panels that look that good at a consistent schedule. Like, how the fuck? And the fact that he slowed down is like, okay, well, he is human. He needs to take breaks. And
here's what I don't get about the manga industry is why. So there's been a lot of talk recently about like, should Shonen Jump switch to a bi-weekly model instead of weekly? You know, giving all their artists a little more leeway in their deadlines and stuff. My question is, instead of doing that, why not just have bigger teams? You know, like it feels like Japan has such this culture of authorship that, and I get it, right? Like I understand why being the sole creator of Berserk, or being, you know, Togashi and being the one guy who does, I mean, I'm sure they have assistants, but it seems like a lot of focus is put on the work that they do individually. It just feels like with all this money, or I mean, I guess I don't know. It seems like they would make a decent amount of money with all the infrastructure in place, why not just, instead of doing bi-weekly, just have twice as many people working on it?
You know, I'm not sure. I think I wouldn't really know, because it wouldn't necessarily depend on like the artists themselves, whether they want a team or not. They definitely have assistants for things.
Not every artist works with assistants, and not every production could necessarily be sped up just by like, you know, increasing the amount of people working on it. I think so every manga is different, right?
I mean, certainly at least kind of it could, because right, I mean,
some people just work solo.
The neighbor industry of this being anime, I mean, every anime has, I mean, anime still has its crunch problems, but like every anime has like 20 plus people working on it at least, right?
Fuck, I don't know.
Well, I guess my point is just that I feel like the reason why some mangaka are solo has more to do with culture and just like sort of a bad mindset. Well, you know, my opinion, bad.
Bad mindset.
I think it is dangerous to be so focused on the individual, and I think, you know, I think there's a lot of people.
But I mean, I think most like serialized manga are not solo. Like I think most of them do have assistants, but not all of them. Like at least one. Do you guys watch Monben? You know the Monben with now. Oh God, Naoki. Oh, what's his fucking
Urasawa?
name? Uras. Oh my God! Wait, I posted a link. In my server before. It's the guy Naoki Urasawa. Yeah, Manben with Naoki Urasawa, the show where he interviews manga people and films them working. One of those guys.
I watched 2 episodes.
That you probably didn't see. There's one where the guy he's interviewing is like he draws animals. Like he loves drawing animals, and the series he's working on is about like human animal hybrids fighting each other. And he draws like very naturalistically, and he draws very naturalistic like backgrounds and like natural environments and stuff. And that guy is like some kind of weird prodigy, and he works completely solo. But he's like the only one. Every other one has like a team of people that they work with, either in like an office where they're all in there together, or some of them just ship it off to people to do like processing and stuff on it. So like, I guess it's not. Most of them do, you know, split up the workload like that.
This is speculation. And I guess I just worry that someone like, you know, Miura and someone like, particularly Togashi, because I think Togashi has stated that he tries to limit his assistants. I worry that people like that are putting so much pressure on themselves to be the guy, to be like, I'm the one who does this manga. I do every panel. I do everything but the backgrounds or whatever. I think they put so much pressure on themselves to do that. And again, just speculation, that I could easily see how that stress can overwhelm and turn into, you know, in the worst scenarios, severe illness, and in the best scenarios, just an unhealthy lifestyle.
It's silly. I mean, fucking Quentin Tarantino is still thought of as like super visionary man, but he literally does not do everything in the production of a film.
Quentin Reviews is seen as a visionary filmmaker, but we know that he has a team. He has a script. I'm sorry, you just said Quentin, and this is how fucked up I am. Is that when you said Quentin, my mind goes to Quentin Reviews and not Quentin Tarantino.
God, you're a cursed being right now.
I know, it's awful.
But yeah, like you can be considered like a cool person and still be not the sole creator. I mean, I know manga's different, but like having assistants, to learn that somebody has assistants does not devalue from them. Or like that if somebody writes and somebody draws, like, I don't know, you don't need to. I don't actually know what the culture is in Japan. Whether it's like, oh, you're not cool unless you do it by yourself. I feel like it's probably just normal and people have assistants. I have just looked up Kentaro Miura. He's had, over the years, so not necessarily at the same time, he's had 4 assistants working on Berserk.
See, isn't like a pitifully small number?
Yeah,
that's way too small.
At the moment, they say that apparently they say Kentaro Miura's assistant, like singular, posted something on social media saying they'll do their best, which could imply that he's going to try and continue it, or maybe not. But the important thing is that it's one. At the time, he had one assistant. That's just him and one other guy working on it.
Yeah.
That's
think,
not enough.
It's not enough.
I don't want to speak to all of Japanese culture because like what the fuck do I know, you know? But I does feel like it might be just a distinctly Japanese thing because I don't, like referring to Bakuman. There's that whole arc. This arc was so funny reading it for the first time, which is that the main character has to go to the hospital and the editor is seen as a bad guy for making him want to for telling him to take a break. Like the whole fucking cast bands together, say, fuck you, editor. This guy should be allowed to work himself to death in his hospital bed. Like that to me is just what I assume of the Japanese culture.
A fucking streak of like, it is good to work yourself to death to do art. And I'm like, no, it's not. You'll die. What are you, insane? You can live a few extra years and get it done a little slower and it'll be fine. You don't need to do it now. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there is a bit of a culture around that. I'm maybe thinking incorrectly about after World War II, there was a lot of like a wave of humility hit Japan. Like they just got nuked twice. And so like struggling and working hard even at the cost of one's own life is important for the restructuring of the nation. I feel like that sentiment has carried over through generations and it's still sort of around, where it's like your own personal well-being is important, sure, but really try to get the chapter released on time. It's like, okay, I will do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems like, I don't know. This is just speculation on my part. It just seems like a pretty big issue, and I hope that there's, if Miura's death has anything to do with the lifestyle of being a normal mangaka in Japan, I doubt it will, but I just hope something changes.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why it isn't the reason why. Oh God, it's a bit of a, I guess a chicken and egg problem, maybe, about like, is it the industry, like, or the publishers like pushing them to like work really hard on their chapter, or is it just that like the industry is so competitive that the artists have to compete with each other to such a degree that like
that does definitely seem to be
like they have to push themselves really hard, or else someone else is just going to do it better, and the magazines are just going to run whoever is doing the best work, like whatever
I guess that could also
whatever
be it.
means it takes to do the work, like you can't like regulate and say like mangaka are not allowed to like spend more than like 40 hours a week drawing.
No, it's
like
it's not a thing that can be.
They're gonna do what they want.
Litigated through. Yeah, it's just like a cultural thing. Like I assume it's more so that if somebody is pushing themselves too hard, not as many people will try to stop them. They'll just see it as like, damn, he's working hard, and just move on with their own life.
Something interesting, not in Japan, but in Korea, is this is only semi-related, is that if you're playing a video game too long, at least I know this for like League of Legends or something, if you're playing League of Legends for too many hours, the game itself will send you a message which says like, hey, take a break, go get some water, stand up, and let's not, which I assume there's some wide epidemic problem of people in Korea just being too addicted to video gaming that like it is now baked into the systems to be like, ease up a little bit. So, hey, maybe someone from Shonen Jump can just send everyone a text. Say like, hey, ease up a little bit.
Why do they work so hard? They should learn from us, Westerners, how to be lazy. It's so much better.
I agree.
You get to wake up late and be like,
but they make better manga. They just objectively make better manga than we do.
Nah.
So, at what cost?
Yeah, but we've got fucking Steven Universe. How about that?
That's true.
They make better manga until mine comes out.
Yeah, they haven't read the KATO Anthology yet, so
flipping the script.
I would have won the Tezuka contest if only I had finished it like properly, like it had an ending. I think they were turned off by how it didn't end properly, and Akira Toriyama read it and he was like, there's no resolution to the conflict. Dislike.
They could tell you weren't working yourself to death, and that's why you lost.
It reads in the comic that you took a break at some point.
I do like the knowledge that they did look over the Clarissa comic, even if it was briefly. They did look through all of them, and they saw mine, and they were like, "Oh, okay." Akira Toriyama and the guy who made Hunter
Oda's eyes,
huh?
Toriyama's eye holes absorbed photons that bounced off of your work.
Yes, and Eiichiro Oda as well.
It's kind of intimate. Not gonna lie. I feel like you have a pretty good connection there.
Just the knowledge makes me happy.
You stimulated their neurons. You did.
I did it.
So what is Oda like exactly?
Yeah, tell us now that you have such a close connection with him. What was it like?
Basically
what was it
married.
like to stimulate the? What was it like to stimulate the neurons of the Eiichiro Oda?
Oh, it was like looking into.
What is the ending of One Piece?
It was like looking into the One Piece itself. I know all of the secrets now, and I laughed because that's what Gold Roger did.
Excellent.
Very good. That's what he would have wanted. That's what Oda would have wanted. God rest his soul.
Ben, you want to tell us about your homelessness now?
Well, there's not much to tell other than that everyone in my house is moving out, and I mean I can't afford the place on my own, so I just gotta find a new fucking place to live. And it's I don't know. It's probably gonna mean I have to spend more money to live in a house, and that makes me a little sad. But it is what it is. I don't know. I guess I'll fucking have to get on Craigslist or something.
Is there a possibility to get in another apartment with a bunch of other people?
Well, I mean, I guess probably not to this degree. This was a bit of a unique situation. We had a bunch of people all come together and split the place up, and we had like 6 people living here, which is more than I'm likely to. My rent's probably going to double, honestly, just because most houses don't fit as many people into as small a space as we did here. But it's fine. I'll just oh god. The housing market in Boston is a real nightmare. It's bad both around. Yeah, it's bad both around. You guys are from here, right? Or one of you is?
No, we're both Massachusettsian.
You both are. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's nothing to find when it's not like September, but then like when it's September and leases are up, like everyone is looking and the competition is fierce. So it's like you're always fucked. And I kind of just haven't even
start squatting.
I have started squatting. Again. I've been working out for a whole week now. I'm strong. I feel so powerful that I could take on anything, even
you could take on any landlord. You could beat them to within an inch of their life, and then say, "Can I have this place, or I'll kill you now?" And then they say yes.
I'm so fit now that I can sleep on the anti-homeless architecture benches with like the spikes on them, designed to keep me up. I haven't even been. I found out about this maybe like 2 weeks ago or something, and I just kind of have not thought about it that much. I've just kind of been like, I'll just think about something else, because it's 2 months away, it doesn't feel like a long time. It feels like no time at all, and I'm like, oh god, there's a clock on me, but like I want to finish my fucking game. I just want to finish my fucking game in peace.
How much left on the game? Didn't you release a pretty solid version of it out already?
I released that. I have been working on, like I mentioned before, I've been working on it, adding cutscenes, which I didn't have very much of that stuff in the initial demo, and I have been really banging my head against it. It's taken me a while to work through it, so progress has been a little slow recently. I feel like, yeah, getting it done within 2 months should probably be doable. But it's hard to say. because I won't know what problems crop up until they do. I don't know, but it's like, okay, should I nose to the grindstone, like really like grind out the rest of the game and get it done really fast so that I can then focus on looking for a new house, or do I need to start looking for a new house now so that, you know, maybe it'll take my attention away from the game, but that'll mean that I can, you know, go somewhere, not be homeless, and be able to work on that uninterrupted, even if my focus is off it for a while. These are the questions that I am grappling with at the moment.
Do you? You don't have like a side job, do you? You do this full time?
Yeah, I do not. I do not currently have any side gigs or anything, which is why my uncommonly low rent living situation was such an instrumental part of my setup, and now I don't have it anymore. So I gotta deal with it. I gotta cope. Cope. But I'm not gonna seethe about it. I'm not gonna seethe, but I am gonna cope. That's the ticket. I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. Pray for me.
Will do.
Thank you. Well, shit. Anything else, or should we go into voicemails?
Let's hear the voicemails.
Okay, then let me find them. Voicemail number 1. Let me pull it up here. Message 3185. Yes, here it is. This is the first one. It is called Ow Oof Ouch, and there it is in general chat. Okay, so let's give this a listen. In 3, 2, 1, go.
This vaccine is fucking killing me.
Damn.
I just got a new job, and now I have to call in sick, even though I've only been with them for 3 days. And fuck, I'm gonna get fired because I got the vaccine. No.
Damn. Fired because you got the vaccine. That's
I do feel like this probably. I think we've accepted that that's gonna be okay. I don't think your job will fuck you on that.
I feel like they'll understand. This makes me nervous though, because I am getting my second dose in 3 days, I think. Yeah, on the 26th. So I will be fully vaccinated by the time this episode comes out, and I don't want to get sick, man. That sucks, man.
So which shot did you get the first time?
I got Pfizer.
Whoa, the elite 1%er.
Is that the elite? I don't know.
You should be okay.
I was one of the unfortunate few who got Johnson & Johnson, which did mean I only need one shot, but it also means that I'm now fucking bottom class.
Ooh, you're a pro. That's Hufflepuff.
I got that Moderna.
Very excellent.
Pathetic.
Let me tell you, it did kill me for a few hours after that second shot.
Really?
I was dead. Yeah.
God, no! I don't want to be made to feel ill. This is despicable. This is a nightmare.
It can't be worse than the Twitter L. So
nothing's worse than a Twitter L. Oh, they're making fun of me. Oh, they're making fun of me on Twitter. They're still going. Oh, they're having a fucking victory lap. No. This is the worst day of my entire life. This is even worse. This is even worse than the day when I get vaccinated.
Ben crying and diarrheaing from having a Twitter L needs to be the title and thumbnail of this video.
Okay, all right, shut up. No. Wait. What was I talking about? Something about getting the vaccine. Oh yes, I was gonna make a genius analogy. Pfizer is Team Mystic, Moderna is Team Valor, and Johnson & Johnson is Team Big Bird. Team, what's the other one? Instinct.
Yeah, it was Instinct. I literally forgot what it was.
Pfizer is AstraZeneca, I think, right?
Oh, I don't fucking
Pfizer
know.
and AstraZeneca is like a joint venture or something.
I think they're only now in the UK are they vaccinating 35-year-olds. So soon, I guess I can get my first one.
Yes, Hoodie and I are both fully vaccinated because we're just that important.
Oh no, I'm wrong. No, it's Pfizer BioNTech is like the joint one, and AstraZeneca was the one they took off the market because it was giving people like blood clots, right?
Oh, Yeah,
I think
about that.
I think that was disputed.
It was made up. Well, it wasn't made up. It was just like no evidence for. There's no like causation. Like not enough data to suggest that was true. It was just sort of like blood clots in people that were the same as like normal
Unrelated blood clots.
Unrelated, but people were scared because Europeans hate medicine, I guess.
It was just a bunch of stress-induced mangaka, just normal.
God, I can't believe it. I got the Pfizer shot, and then less than 3 weeks later, I take my first L on Twitter. It's not a coincidence.
Side effects, man.
There's correlation implies causation in my opinion.
God, Ben, you're impaired.
Next voicemail is called. Put it there. What's it called? It's called "I Am Coming." Loud sound warning. Okay.
Oh.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'm coming.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming.
Where's he going with this?
For your fucking kneecaps! You hear me? I'm going to inflict 10 9/11s on your fucking kneecaps! Your knees are gonna bend so far back! You're gonna look like a goddamn satyr! You! Hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I hurt my head for the sake of this fucking joke! Are you happy? And I had to re-record this 3 goddamn times because I wasn't satisfied with it! I hope you're pleased!
I am pleased. I am pleased.
Joke's not bad. I don't know if it was worth the first 4 seconds. I just don't know if I...
What I appreciate that he just went for it, yelled full volume. There was no, whisper yelling, don't want my parents to wake up bullshit. So, that's refreshing. So
I mean, this guy lacks nothing in commitment, if anything.
He has no shame. He's gonna go for it. Next voicemail is called Oof Addendum. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Excuse me, addendum. I actually meant to say 3 weeks, not 3 days, but still pretty bad to call in sick after 3 weeks.
I don't care. Shut up.
I actually hope this thing just fucking kills me. I hope it's population control, like all the righties say, and we're all just gonna start dropping like flies pretty soon. Because you know what? Everything's gonna get automated in 15 years, and I live in America. America's just gonna totally
you
collapse.
would think that the right wingers
we're gonna get taken over by China.
The idea of a shot
I'm
that
in so much
kills the weak.
pain right now. I'm so sick. I'm gonna get fired from my job. And
Sounds right up there.
Have to be an artist again. No.
You would think they would be they love Corona for its less than 1% killer death rate. That calls the weak. You would think they would love a shot that gives you blood clots and gives you sends you into anaphylactic shock and kills you if you're allergic to stuff, because it's gonna fucking eugenics us into the moon. It's gonna make a stronger human race free of our weaknesses. So I don't get what the problem is. I don't see the conflict here.
That they think they realize they are weak and they would be scared of that.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that these are the same people that probably would be offed by that stuff.
Oh, I see. One for thee and not for me.
Yeah. Self-preservation trumps all ideals.
Naturally, we've cracked it. Next voicemail is called Outdated Description and Thoughts, and I am uploading it right there. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
So I noticed that the description of the SpeakPipe page is actually kind of outdated because it says that it's a show where a bunch of content creators pick a topic and talk about it until no one cares anymore. But now it's just more like the content creators talk about whatever is on their mind until you guys get bored and move on to voicemails.
True.
So, I just wanted to let you guys know that so you can update it. And it also says that you guys take questions when I know for a fact that you guys haven't done that in a long ass time.
We're doing it right now.
Also,
what are you talking about?
Your clout doesn't matter. You can literally ask for anyone you want on this podcast.
Yes, but
there have been plenty of people I know, whether it be interviewers or podcasters, who have gotten people way larger than them on the podcast just by asking. It doesn't hurt to ask, even if they say no. Have a nice day, guys.
You're right. I know. I saw today the lead singer from Eve 6 was saying I will be on anyone's podcast. and I'm like, that's funny. That's cool. What if I asked the Heart in a Blender song guy to be on the podcast? But what do I want to talk to him for?
Yeah.
What do I have to say to the Heart in a Blender guy?
Who he was.
I can't believe you've never heard the Heart in a Blender song.
Well, it's probably on American radio, I guess.
Maybe.
Didn't make it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know Inside Out by Eve 6?
Maybe if I heard it. I don't think so.
It's the one that goes like fuck, how does it go? And I found nothing but faith in nothing. Wanna put my tender heart in a blender. Watch it spin around to a beautiful oblivion. Rendezvous when I'm through with you. No?
I appreciate the commitment, but no.
I had a camp when I was a little kid. Maybe not that little. I had a counselor at camp who would sometimes, he was a guitar guy. He would pull out his guitar and sing camp songs. And sometimes he would sing the Heart in a Blender song. And that's where I know it from. Also, it's just on the radio. Okay, whatever. That guy's cool on Twitter, but I'm probably not going to ask him on the podcast because, like, why? Even though he offered Lamau. Next voicemail is.
Hold on, question.
Huh?
Do you guys get like? Is it harder for you to do guest episodes like mentally? Like, is it weird? Is it uncomfortable?
Not really.
I mean, I sometimes feel like I might, especially when I don't know what the guest does as much as Ben does, and I'm like, oh god, what if I make it uncomfortable for them? That's the only thing that really goes through my mind. Like, I don't want them to feel weirded out.
That's what, actually, I was a little nervous because Gib, you didn't answer when I was like PCP time for a while, and I was like, I'm nervous to do a solo Bencast with 2 guests because how do I fucking entertain these freaks? How do I be engaging when I'm outnumbered?
And the only way out of that situation was to take the Twitter L. It was a tactical L.
Exactly.
That stalled to get Gib back.
Exactly. This Twitter L. This is arguably worse than the time that I got drunk and kept asking the bartender at the Burren, where's my phone? Where's my phone? And made him hate me. This is almost as embarrassing as that was. And just like that, I'll never get over it, and it will haunt me for the rest of my life. Next voicemail is called Never Stood a Chance. 3, 2, 1, go.
And now I may be a little bit late here, but that anime snob bros, we fucking won. Digibro is dead. Anime snob win.
I was rooting for that anime snob the whole time.
It was he was just
such an underdog.
One of the first people that commented on our videos.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Wait,
He's
what?
Like the first recognized YouTuber or any tuber to comment on our channel.
And he was out for us. He did not like the video.
Wait, which video?
It was
oh god, I don't remember.
It was a Code Geass video. Was he the one that called us a fascist?
No.
No, that was someone else on the same video.
Although I guess if you're defending, if you're pro Gaius, I could see why. Maybe you're like, that's a little fash, right? Because it's kind of a fash show, right? Like the protagonist is kind of like, I haven't actually seen it. I only know it by reputation.
I'm not gonna call it a fash show.
That's harsh. That's obviously that's harsh language. But it deals with that. It deals with like an authoritarian government or whatever, right?
It's like Imperial for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like really, all the Chosen One shows, they're all fashion. I mean, Harry Potter.
It was really funny.
Naruto.
It would be really funny if he called you a fascist if you made like a Dragon Ball Z show or something. But when it's like a show that's specifically about politics, it's like, okay, I get why it would come up. Yeah.
Yeah. If he called me a fascist on my Dragon Ball Super video, that would take personally.
Yeah. The Kais are I don't know, colonists or something. I don't know.
I always held that as a great honor, and I thank Anime Snob every day for blessing us with his fucking dumb, useless comment.
And after that, we really started seeing the algorithm.
We stan that Anime Snob, and he's Greek, right? He's Greek. I think his weird Greek accent and his I don't know. That guy's funny. Is he doing good? Is his channel blowing up? Is it
no?
No. Okay. All right.
I mean, I don't know, but the answer is no. I mean, almost guaranteed.
I thought so. All right. Sad but true. Okay. Next voicemail. Oh, I uploaded these out of order. Why did I do that? The next voicemail is called... Wait, I think that one was actually called Never Stood a Chance, and this one is called The Prophecy is True. Whoops. 3, 2, 1, go.
Women who would give bitchy attention to certain guys doesn't make sense. So my fantasy of a bitch would be one who somehow needs some skill that I have. She hates the world, but she has to make YouTube videos proclaiming it, and she needs someone to edit them, and so
and she can only pick you who she hates as opposed to anyone else.
Are you saying that if Digi was a girl, he'd be your waifu?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Okay, that took a little second for me to realize it was a clip. I thought Devu had sent in a voicemail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a good clip.
Wow.
Yeah, what a pull.
Wow.
He went deep for that one.
I don't think I can say anything that would add. I'll just let it stand on its own. Voice Grail.
It's a clip from the PCP. So Voice Grail.
We'll put Devu in Voice Grail. Lamau. We'll put all of ourselves because it's a group effort.
Grail default.
Next voicemail is called Henlo Corgo 2, and there it is. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, everyone. And by everyone, I mean
boring.
Ben, probably Gib, and maybe Tom. So I see a lot of people on the PCP Reddit and on your guys' Discord channels.
There's not a lot of people there.
Asking to be made members of the PCP and asking you to hold open auditions.
I don't think that happens that often.
Of course, that's never going to happen because they're not showing enough initiative. I officially declare myself the manager,
producer,
co-host,
call
and
yourself the producer,
sole founder of the PCP.
Founder.
I did it. It's my show.
Well, you're the boss if
no
you
one
say
else.
so.
I'll be in charge of screening voicemails from now on, and I'll see you guys next week for the recording.
You should have said you're.
I do think the idea of a PCP tryout is hilarious to me. What the fuck is a podcast tryout?
He doesn't understand. Now that he's our boss, he needs us. We have the power. We can strike. We can strike and bankrupt him. The thing now that he's the owner of the PCP, but the PCP has jokes on you. We're losing money. It's a white elephant. We're an albatross around your neck. All our debts are now your debts. You're fucked.
The stock is plummeting. Elon's tweet is ruining the PCP. Fuck it.
Elon, no, he declares himself boss. He declares himself boss of the PCP only for Elon to see the epic L that Ben Saint just took on Twitter and say, man, the PCP is so cringe, and our fucking stock price plummeted. Thanks, Elon. No, next voicemail is called where is it? Not an incel. Okay. There we go. No, wait. It's uploading. There we go. There it is. Okay. Not an incel. 3, 2, 1, go.
Considering these facts, am I still an incel
Yes.
whose opinion doesn't matter?
Absolutely.
I am a sociable person who in no way has problems talking to women. I do not hate 3D PD women and only like 2D girls who lack the agency to question my masculinity and hurt my fifis. I have had sex multiple times
Are these
in my
like
life,
spliced together?
including recently.
Yeah.
And I have aspirations to do so again. As a matter of fact,
Chad.
I have a girlfriend.
Hi.
This is Kiwi Farm's
I
hero.
know. I am not a fat neckbeard.
Straight
and
as
do
a
in fact
board.
leave my house
Will
regularly
never
to
go
get
trans.
exercise and practice decent hygiene. I do not feel entitled for any games to be made to my or anyone else's tastes. I only ask that I be able to voice my opinion. I support myself financially and do not leech off my parents.
I forget the context
else.
of this.
I am not angry at the world for any perceived injustices.
I think it's about Tifa's It's about Tifa's boobs. It's the video about Tifa's boobs.
By all these metrics, I'm pretty sure I'm not a total loser, and yet none of them will make a difference. By simply making this argument, I am an incel in many people's eyes, and nothing I can say will change that. I'm not asking anyone to agree with me, and I feel that I understand the other side's point. I simply think it would be...
That sucks.
One of my favorite things about Nate is how, like, it's the funniest thing is he gets so weird on, like, tight definitions of, like, abstract concepts. There was one episode where he was, like, arguing, like, on a scale of how cucked are you if your girlfriend uploads a bikini picture.
How cucked? Wait, was that?
And that is the sort of philosophical discourse that I'm interested in.
Wait, is that on a PCP or was that in a?
I think
it was a PCP. I think it was a PCP.
Oh no, I do remember that. It's all about consent. Okay. Well,
but cuck's consent.
Cucksent.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Oh shit, no, you're right. Fuck. Okay, never mind. I don't like this voicemail because it wasn't like clipped to make a point. It was just like a minute and 20 seconds of Nate saying some kind of maybe cringy, funny stuff.
Am I crazy, or was it edited to like be a little? It seemed like I don't know the context, but it seemed like
why did it just cut off at the end? I think, like seemingly in the middle of a word.
Because he's still going.
I think it was just like from one of his videos.
It was.
Oh.
It was from the Tifa's.
It.
It was from the video. It was from the video where he complains about Tifa's boobs being shrunk. Bad video, by the way. Bad video that I don't agree with. But I'm not sure if it was spliced together. I'm left struggling. I'm left grasping for some, like, what was the point? Like, what was, like, the punchline? What message was intended to be conveyed here? I don't know. Do better.
No, I like it. Good job. You did well.
Boo.
Yeah, that has the KATO seal of approval.
Oh my god.
Good voicemail.
Terrible. Wow. Your standards are really low. I'll bet your anthology's gonna suck ass. If this is your taste in voicemails, I can only imagine. Yada yada. Next voicemail is called I can't read it. It's like a square. It's like the character is not. It's an emoji or something. 3, 2, 1, go.
Guys, I haven't watched in a year and I don't know what's going on. Can somebody tell me what's going on, guys?
No, it's too
Can somebody walk me through step by step everything that's happened on the PCP in the last year?
It's too
complicated. Guys, I'm a big doo-doo baby head. Can somebody help me, guys?
You will never know. You will never know. You will wander in darkness.
Well, I do think people like that are funny and to be made fun of. Have you guys ever considered doing a State of the PCP type thing?
What would be the point, though? I think all of the things are in the episodes.
Yeah, but I mean that's a lot to watch.
Just watch every episode, you'll get it.
Yeah, just watch all the episodes. Subscribe to our Patreon.
You know what? It's actually not a terrible idea.
The biggest thing I would say is, I mean, a lot of this stuff seems obvious, stuff I've like inferred, but it seems like for a long time the PCP had a very specific like end goal of being this, the PCP HQ and all that stuff, mostly being spearheaded by Nate and Trixie and whatnot. So I think with that seemingly not in the picture anymore, just an idea of like, what is this channel, and like, what is it just podcast from now on? Is there any plans for it to be something else? I think would be interesting, even if the answer is no.
You make a good point. I guess my only thing about that is that I'm not really. I feel like I don't know what the plan is. Like the plan in the interim is just keep making the show with the couple people that still show up, which is fine.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. On the one hand, yeah, like we could explain what's going on because a lot has happened, but on the other hand, like I don't know. Do a lot of people like? Is there a lot to even explain? Like, is it really? Do people need an explanation?
I think
I'm torn.
I think people like, and I've noticed this among a lot of creators, is they do not consider how much people like inside baseball talk. I think audiences love behind the scenes, like not even like necessarily juicy drama, just like, hey, you know, this is the stats behind our latest videos, and that's why we're doing this, or you know, etc.
If people knew that I was editing videos on a titty mouse pad, they would lose their minds.
It's true.
I mean, I'm kind of the same as Ben. I don't exactly know what the future holds. I'm mostly just thinking of my own projects, and then just I'll be on the PCP. Why not? It's not really like to make a declarative statement like, yes, the future is cold, dead, and empty. There is no future for the PCP. We're just gonna do a podcast now. I feel like, I don't know. People already infer that from the gravestones that we have.
Here's a question I have that I'm sure a lot of people probably have, which is that, like, is there any future with Radcons? Like, is there ever going to be another Radcon?
I think so. I think Radcon could happen. I don't know who would appear.
I feel like it could too, yeah. I mean, there would be no Trixie. I feel like probably no Jesse. Probably no Munchie. But other than that, I mean, me, you, Tom, Nate. Shit, is there anyone else? Am I forgetting anyone?
Well, there wouldn't be any Davu or Mage, but they never came. Well, Davu came to one.
Yeah, true. So I don't know. Yeah, I feel like yes. I feel like there could be another Radcon, and there probably will be, and it'll be different from the other ones. But
honestly, personally, I know Ben probably wouldn't want Trixie back, but like
absolutely
I think
not.
After an apology, I could see it happening, but probably not for a while.
If we got an apology and I thought it was sincere, I would consider it. But we will never get one. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's not an option worth considering. If that happened, yeah, okay, that's reasonable. But no. But no. I guess next voicemail. We there put it there. Pirate Leg Pete. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yar, me hearties. This be Pirate Leg Pete, and I am not a pirate, but me leggings. On me legs many a journeys across the 7 open seas. We have spent countless hours listening to your land-lubbing podcast, and in that time, but one thing has become clear to old Pete and his pirate leg, and that is that Nate has the most succulent of boy pussies.
Another one of these.
Yar har har! We be the crew of Nate fuckers, and we will take his prostate before the league. We will dig into it like so many buried treasures. Also, fuck ye, Ben Saint. Return the pirate scroll.
God.
Crossing the streams.
I keep finding out about all these new scrolls I have, and it's just exciting each time.
They messed up. They should have said pirate booty.
My collection is growing, apparently. Pirate booty, yeah.
No, I mean like in relation to the Nate fucking. They didn't say booty. They said treasure. So this is
a Nate fucker and a scroll hunter and there's a lot going on.
A Nate fucker and a scroll.
There's potential there. Needs to be cleaned up a little bit.
It should be a map instead of a scroll.
Not after taking that L. After taking that L, I just don't have room in my heart for this for this right now. We gotta move on. Next voicemail is called what's it called? SF2 is based. Again, not that one. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
That is correct.
SF2? Street Fighter 2? Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go.
It was Saga Frontier 2.
Saga Frontier.
2! Pay attention, Ben.
Okay.
Also, try
Sorry.
not to get soft locked at the egg fight.
Okay.
When they said Street Fighter 2, not that one, I thought, or rather SF2, not that one, I thought it was just a joke about how many Street Fighter 2s there are.
No, this was... I don't know if you listened to the last episode, but no, there was some guy called in to opine about how Saga Frontier is based, and I think I was not impressed. I think I like looked up and thought it was ugly or something. Next voicemail is called Horse Throat. Nice. I'll put it right there. There it is. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Ben Saint.
Ah, Jesus.
I have the files of the Brony lecture, and I'm willing to give you to them if you meet my 3 demands. Number 1, you must change your name from Ben Saint to Ben Saint Tolini. Number 2, you must cancel Best Guy Ever. This shouldn't be hard to do. There are dozens of cancelable moments on this very channel. And lastly, number 3, you must invite Psy to the podcast. That's SYY.
We should have Psy on.
And make him a permanent member of the PCP.
We should have Psy on the
If these
podcast.
demands are met in the next 13 days, I'll delete the Brony lecture.
What was the second one?
Cancel Nate, I think.
Okay, done. I was gonna do that anyway. What was the first one?
Change your name to Ben something. I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I couldn't get what he wanted to. Something Saint.
Ben
something.
Saint Tolinamo.
On a technical note, that guy's voice modular was too deep. You got it. Don't do that next time. It's too hard to tell.
I mean, it was a horse throat.
Yeah. I'll do 2 out of 3. I will cancel Nate and I will invite Psy on the podcast. So that's take it or leave it. I gotta update. I gotta do an update on the state of the Twitter L right now. I gotta explain what's going on with it because there are developments. The current state of the Twitter L is, I had to walk it back and be like, wow, okay, I guess you did send it, and Riley has taken a big victory lap, retweeting all these people, all these weird Trixie simps that like called me mean for like saying that she deleted our content and stuff. And Riley, the story is like, haha. Wait. I'll literally read what he said because it's very weird. He said like, Trixie didn't send the stuff. Trixie didn't send the things because you asked her to. He says that like a fan contacted him and asked him to get Trixie to send the stuff, and that's why she did it. So it's not because I asked, and it's not because Gib asked, which we were asking for months and months. It's because someone got Riley to tell Trixie to send it, and that's what made her send it.
Doesn't that make Trixie look worse?
Yes, in my opinion, it's very embarrassing. But this is what Riley is having his fucking victory lap over, and I just don't know how to. I don't know how to respond. I don't know how to respond to this, and so I will not. Anyway, that's the state of the L. fuck a state of the PCP video. We gotta make a state of the L every day for the rest of the week. I gotta be like, okay,
new segment
guys.
on the podcast, permanent fixture.
State of the L. All right, here's the fallout from that time that I said something wrong on Twitter and got made fun of. It's like it spawns a whole diaspora of responses that ripple throughout the time stream. Anyway, next voicemail is called, I'll post it right here. It is called, it's Base Joker 9. So get ready. We got some shit coming up. Okay, Base Joker 9. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yig Studio. More like Yig Pudio.
I mean,
not the best one.
Not the best one. Not the best one. There's only one layer to that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted more.
The best base jokers are when there is multiple things you could think it could be.
Yeah. The base jokers set the bar really high for these puns, because a lot of them were very clever and like worked in multiple ways. This one's just normal.
I feel like the setup on the better ones is a little longer. You know, it's maybe like an idiom instead of just like a small phrase. You know, this one was just a little too quick for me.
The good ones have like multiple parts. Like, you know, waiting for the poo to plop is not just. It's not just that shoe sounds like poo. It's that two words in the same phrase were both transformed in a way that worked and changed the meaning of the phrase to match. So this is my in-depth dissection of why this shit pun didn't work for me.
This analysis would have skyrocketed way more than the Winnie the Pooh stuff. I'm just telling you. That's your new series.
I'll finish that Winnie the Pooh series. I'll finish reviewing season 1 of The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh one of these days.
Surely someone online is doing poop joke analysis.
Winnie the Pooh. More like Winnie the Diarrhea.
More like Winnie the Stress Diarrhea from taking an L on Twitter. Heyo! Shut up. Shut up. You're all fucking critics. Have you been seeing, there's been some things going around on Twitter where someone has been doing like Three Stooges bits, but they're bits about like Zoomer phrases like sus, like hey Mo, you're looking a little sus. Sus? What do you mean sus? What are you knuckleheads talking about? Hey, yeah, Larry, I think we got ourselves an imposter. I love these, and I just wanted to let you know how I feel about them. Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Okay, next one is called there it is. It is called Cross Aspect Ratio Preference. 3, 2, 1, go.
What aspect ratio do you think looks the best and why?
1.
I think I like 1.
Not 1, just 1. Like there is no second dimension.
I think I like the old CRT 3 to 4. Like widescreen is fine. There came a point in my life when I realized that like old 3 to 4 ratio had been like completely supplanted by widescreen, and I was like, huh, okay, but why? I don't really prefer it. I don't really know why it seems to have become the dominant thing. Like whatever, I don't hate it, but I don't get it. I think 3x4 is good.
I'm a bit of a zoomer, so 16:9 is pretty comfortable for me.
There's a great video by Captain Disillusion about aspect ratio, and it goes into how it works, but also what works in widescreen and 4x3, and like for what purpose. And you know, with phones now, it's like 2 to 1, but like vertically, and it's like there's lots of different things, because like human beings, we see things because the land is like pretty horizontal. You go outside, and outside shots work well in widescreen, but more personal shots work well in 4x3, because you don't need to see so much of a person to the side of them. A person is like vertical. It's a good video. Just you know, there's pros and cons to both. I don't really know what I prefer.
I you know, maybe it's just because I grew up with a 3 to 4. Maybe I'm just nostalgic. I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, I don't.
I do wonder if the next generation of people will have a wildly different preferred aspect ratio, because, like you said, you grew up on one thing, I grew up on 16:9, and then weird thing now is, you know, so many people are just not only watching stuff on their phone, but like Webtoon's whole platform is like scrolling vertically. And
I can't get used to reading comics like that. I like the pages that you turn.
Yeah. The scrolling is because it's what's the word? Like it does that because it's on a phone, right? Like scrolling webtoons is like it's a format designed to be read on a phone. I mean, I don't see why the aspect ratio would need to change, but like it did once, so I guess it could change again. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, what do you think, it would get longer?
Yeah, I guess. It's weird to think about, but I guess you would probably say the same thing 20 years ago.
Yeah, I don't really see why it needed to get longer. But it did, and I don't know, whatever.
It'll morph to whatever the viewer base is watching things on. I think since phones are like thin, they can hold them horizontally or they can hold them vertically, which is much more comfortable in the hand. And so like TikToks and Vines and other mobile app videos are all tall.
So would it be fair to say that like the shape of the shape of like our media has changed literally just because a phone needs to be a certain length to reach from your ear to your mouth?
So you're interesting.
Yeah. So it's like that's why it's long. Like that's why the screen is elongated, because it can't just be a square.
Yeah, ergonomically, it's also like you could have a square phone, but it would be weird to hold in your hand. So,
that's what I mean. It's easier to hold it the long way with your fingers, and so it stretches from your ear. Yeah, like imagine if your phone were just a big square. You just have your whole like hand around it, just kind of holding it next to you.
A handle on the back of it, so you can lift it up to your face.
Like an iron. You hold it. You hold it like an iron. Yeah, like you're branding yourself with it. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe if it were square, you could have like you could hold it diagonally. So like the speaker is on like one corner, and like the mouth, the receiver is on the other corner, and you kind of hold it diagonally between your ear and your.
But that sounds. I could imagine that would be annoying to hold with a human hand. Maybe aliens would have different aspect ratios.
I guess you would have to. You could have like your one finger on top of the one side, and then your pinky on the other side, and your thumb on the other. You could have. Yeah, that's awkward.
Think about what a duck like aspect ratio would be, because they have eyes on the side of their head. A screen would need to be like a semicircle, or like a.
I don't think this will. Go ahead.
Huh? No, I was done.
A duck wouldn't have to make a phone call.
Who knows?
I don't think this will happen, but there is at least a small possibility that aspect ratio will change because of VR. In which case, you're being like transplanted into the media of choice, there is no screen.
I mean, VR is never gonna supplant just traditional screen media.
I find myself agreeing, but predicting the future is pretty hard.
I guess so. I mean, that would just mean that like the normal. If that became the norm, then like normal screen resolution would be, I don't know what the fucking, it'd be like goggle shape or whatever, right? I don't know. I don't see it happening. But maybe. Yeah, that's not even like. Honestly, I don't know enough about how VR works to even talk about it. So let's go to the next voicemail, and it is called. Okay, the next one is called Gibbs Centralism. 3, 2, 1, go.
Gib, the Middle East would behead you for being trans. Why do you defend people who are more neo-Nazis than the neo-Nazis are?
I defend people who get blown up for no reason. That's pretty obvious decision to come to.
I understand this point, because like I know Hamas is a like fundamentalist, or I mean I've heard, I don't really know anything, but I've heard that Hamas is a fundamentalist Islamic organization.
Yeah, it's a terrorist organization, but it is not representative of the children that are being killed.
I said.
Like Palestinians are not Hamas, so
Palestinians are not Hamas. Okay, you know what? I guess that's not really the point. Maybe the culture in fucking Gaza or whatever, maybe they are, very Islamic, very traditional, kill gay people, kill trans people. I mean, that could be the case. That could be the case, but it's still not a case for like genociding them, right? Like the extrapolation from when you make this argument is the end result like, oh, like therefore because these people are homophobic, because these people are regressive, we should just kill and displace them? Is that the argument?
Yeah, like would you advocate for that
I don't
in
agree
America
with that.
or anywhere else? Like I wouldn't.
Right.
It's a little extreme.
Right. Should we fucking bomb people that are like that here in America? These are some things you might want to ask yourself, because we have that here too. Next voicemail is called. Oh wait, there's an Imgur link, so I guess I will link that here. Images found for Clusterpunk Hell Department of Machine Verification appointment. 99th May 7/20/22. Oh, there's like a whole bunch. Okay, well it's 2 images. I guess we'll show this on screen. There's a DMV schedule and a DMV card with a number. 24096 Tough Luck Kid. PA system says, please refrain from starting revolutions while our staff sort through the punch card record for your nanomachines. Followed by a cyborg. This is erarare, who is the voice modulator poem person, the submarine. What was there a name for that stuff? I don't even remember what it was called. I don't even know how to refer to it, but hopefully you know what I mean. This all started with the bear, right? This all started with prepare for the bear, right? And there's erarare and there's the bear. Okay, context achieved. Voicemail. Let us listen. 3, 2, 1, go.
Those sewage guzzling bottom feeders over at the DMV. They've confiscated our submarine, which means dealing with bureaucracy. Who wants to stand in line and waste away when the office only opens 3 of 7 days? If you could end bureaucracy, which agencies do we close immediately?
This is so weird.
I don't think I know the lore on this guy.
I really like the imagery of a person standing in the DMV
organ.
and then singing like this about how annoying it is.
And then at the end, they down on the Phantom of the Opera, like on the pipe organ that just happens to be sitting there. Which agencies do I close if I'm ending bureaucracy? Oh my god. Where to even begin? ICE. Done. The one where they do the Pentagon. Yeah, the Pentagon, the CIA, just for starters. I don't know. It's hard. It's complicated. The DMV, despite being a nightmare, does serve a valuable function. I wouldn't close it. I would probably streamline it. Sorry for the boring answer. God. Next voicemail is called...
How many more do we have?
We have like literally 3 more.
Alright.
I know, there's so few. So few this week. This is just paltry. This one is called #WhenSonichu. 3, 2, 1, go.
You know, Ben, if you really want to stick it to Trixie, there's no bigger power move than releasing Sonichu 102.
You know why I'm not going to do that. You know I have a plan for it. You know this.
How would that even stick it to Trixie?
I guess because, like, I released my lecture and you didn't release your lecture. I don't care about that. She's not going to do it. Whatever. I'm over that. You know I'm not gonna release the Sonichu lecture until Slime and Punishment is done. This is well-established lore. I'm sorry. I apologize. Next voicemail is called Pfizer Gang. Pfizer Gang! 1%ers, baby! 3, 2, 1, go.
Ayo, vaccinated gang?
Vax
Ayo,
gang.
second shot gang? Pfizer gang?
We talked about this already.
True.
We already covered this, but good question. Pfizer for life. Pfizer's like Ravenclaw. AstraZeneca is like Slytherin. Moderna is the Gryffindor, and Johnson & Johnson is like Hufflepuff.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You're a Hufflepuff.
It's an underrated house, all right? It's an underrated house. Helga Hufflepuff just wanted to teach all kids equally. Honestly, Hufflepuff is the best house because it's not stupid. Oh my god, you got me unironically Harry Pottering right now. But Hufflepuff's philosophy was just like, we'll teach anyone that wants to learn can be a student. And that's fucking based. Ravenclaw is the only other one that's even like justifiable because it's like, we only want smart kids. We only want like the really like best students. And like, okay, I get that. Helga Hufflepuff, I'll teach anyone. Based. Slytherin, white people, wizards only. It's like, okay. Not a fan of that one. And then Gryffindor, only if you're brave. It's like,
that's basically like Chad's, like fraternity.
Yeah, it is.
You need a big enough chin to be in Gryffindor.
It's literally Gryffindor's literally the Chad house, the frat one for the jocks. Harry Potter's a jock. Harry Potter's literally a jock. It's canon.
Well, he is a cop by the end of the series, so
he also becomes a cop. But he's like a star athlete. He's the fucking star player on the fucking wizard football team. He's
wizard football.
Yeah, I think that's what they call it.
The problem is, I don't think there's a single interesting character in Hufflepuff. I don't think she put one.
No.
Well, there was the Robin Pattinson guy. Was it Cedric Diggory?
Cedric Diggory. He's not that interesting.
No,
he's
wasn't.
Just like he's
also people think
everyone
he's
likes
Gryffindor.
him and he's cool, and that's like his one thing. But he's not interesting. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh fuck! I was gonna say something. No, it's gone. It's gone, and it'll never come back. Something about wizard football. Oh no, that's the, I don't know, something about how Harry Potter and not Legend of the Ten Elemental Masters, Secret in the Basement by Ula Lilia both end with the protagonist using their new magic powers to become the ultimate cop. They have the same ending.
All cops are based.
All cops are based, and all cops are wizards. All cops are spellcasters. Is the lesson here? And I think the next one is, this might be the last one. This one is called, uploading it, Bitcoin will never be a real currency. 3, 2, 1, go.
So I hate to break it to anybody still holding out on this, but Bitcoin's never going to be a real currency that you can widely use for like goods and services and shit, because it's baked into it that the value of it is volatile, because there's a hard cap on the amount of it that can ever exist. So anytime demand for Bitcoin increases because you're trying to spend it on stuff, the value automatically goes up, and there's no way to counterbalance it by increasing the supply, which is what you ideally do with a real currency, is you increase the supply to match the demand so the value remains the same, and that keeps prices stable and keeps the market like functional. So with Bitcoin, this volatility is baked into it, and it's going to keep happening forever, because that's just what happens when you have a coin that works like this. There's other coins that don't have that hard cap on the amount of it that can ever exist, but Bitcoin does, so it's fucked. It's always going to be like this. Just imagine the type of person, like a fucking mom and pop shop or a Walmart or whatever, adjusting the prices of everything on a daily basis in order to match the fucking the changing in the price of Bitcoin. Like, you can do it if you're a fucking artist, a commissioner who only does like a couple transactions a day or whatever, but fucking Walmart is never going to do it.
Is it? okay, I haven't heard this argument before about like, because the supply being inelastic, which means that like, which makes the value inherently volatile. I haven't heard that before. I guess my initial reaction is just that like the dollar is also volatile. Like the value of a dollar does change on a day-to-day basis, like relative to other currencies. And I know that like, yeah, they can mint more dollars in a way that they can't mint more Bitcoin. I don't know whether I'm convinced that is like a complete impediment to it becoming. I don't want Bitcoin to become like a real currency that's widely used. I watched a little video. I watched some like fucking Bitcoin news network video the other day, where a guy was talking about why like Bitcoin is basically destined to become like a adopted as a widely used currency. And he explained all the properties of money that it has, and that it has better than like gold, and better than traditional currency and whatever. And it sounded like maybe, and I don't know. I don't know if I buy that. Like this is because the price of the dollar does fluctuate, and like the fact that you can mint more dollars, does that like really help control the price of the dollar that much? Maybe it does. Honestly, I feel like I'm out of my depth.
Yeah, I'm not a smart man, but
right.
I do think even if volatility wasn't an issue, even if it like steadily just increased in value at a very calculable rate, the fact that it is a fixed supply does seem like a bad idea. Like a currency that is encouraged to save and not spend does not seem like it would be good for the economy. But I am not a smart man.
You're right, because like I mean, this guy, the guy who's the video I watched, he seemed to think that like he basically felt that like the Federal Reserve printing money is like a form of violence, in that it is like devaluing money that people exchange their time for. And obviously knowing a little Marxism as I do, I know that like money is not like the money that people have is not actually equivalent to like time that they spend to obtain it, because like that's not how capital works. Capital accumulates more of itself. So like, yeah, now that you mention it, I think that makes it a very unattractive option for me, because yeah, if the supply of Bitcoin is completely inelastic, then if somebody gets tons of Bitcoin, they just have all the money, right? They just have it all. Yeah. And whereas like if someone has all the dollars right now, theoretically the bank can print more dollars and distribute more dollars, and that person with all the dollars now only has half the dollars. Their value has decreased because the supply was increased broadly. And you can't do that with Bitcoin, which is horrifying. I think it's optimistic to say that, like, oh, that means it can't be adopted as a currency. Maybe it can, and it will just lead to a horrible dystopian libertarian nightmare.
Yeah. To his other point, I do think the idea that a store could not change its prices every day probably is not true as we get more and more technologically advanced. Like, I think what you're imagining when you say that is like, what are they going to write on a new sticker and have to replace, put it over the object every single day? And like, the answer is probably not. The answer would be that each price would have a screen underneath it, and there would be an algorithm that updates the price under the screen, and the algorithm is attached to the value of Bitcoin. It's not something that's immediately available right now to every mom and pop shop, but like, I would not be crazy for like 20 years
Don't
from now.
Stores without checkout already exist?
Yeah, they do. And like, maybe the prices could be listed in some sort of like stable conversion metric, but like the actual transaction could still be conducted using Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin value might fluctuate, whereas like the conversion rate is weighted in a way that the listed price stays the same or something like that. I mean,
each store has its own microtransaction currency.
Oh, like for loot boxes.
Yeah.
We got one more. One some fucking idiot submitted a voicemail at 6:36 p.m. on Sunday. He just
Right
barely
now?
made it. Yeah, right now. So this is the actual last one, and this is called "Hi Tobuscus Guy, Don't Watch Odd Taxi." 3, 2, 1, go.
What the fuck? I was listening to the fucking podcast. I knew that I didn't send any voicemails, but there was like a little nagging in my head, like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if like you did send a voicemail and you just don't remember? Come in, Tobuscus Guy, who sounds just like me, at least to me. That's easily scariest experience of my life. Easily. This is fucked up. This is scary. Watch out, Taxi. Pretty please. Okay, bye.
That's a weird thought to have. Like, what if I accidentally submitted one? I didn't realize it. That's a weird thought.
Just because someone's voice sounded like your voice? I don't know. I can't
Some
relate.
memento shit.
So now I'm confused whether I should watch Odd Taxi or not. I'm just like I'm getting mixed messages.
What was she said? Watch it.
Huh?
She said watch it. That was a very distinct.
She
message.
said watch it, but the title of the voicemail said don't watch Odd Taxi, and that.
Well, I guess you should
know.
go in between and watch with one eye open and one ear open.
A true shrug.
Just watch
put
regular
yourself in a
taxi
box.
footage.
Put yourself in a box with a screen, and for us, we won't know if you have or have not watched it. So I think you've done both.
Spoiler: I won't do it. Experiment ruined. Okay, we've made it to the end.
Yes.
We've fucking we've paid our pound of flesh. We have come to the end of the podcast. So I guess before we leave off, anyone got any final thoughts or objects of interest or notes to mention before we sign out for another week? What are we thinking? How are we feeling, guys?
Everybody go check the link in the description for Give and
Yes.
Take's new Lord of Ghosts Kickstarter starting tomorrow.
No.
Check out the KATO Anthology. Link in the description. Throw it some money its way if you feel like it.
Yeah. If you make comics, if you pledge enough, we will do another anthology. So it's a good opportunity.
True. That would be cool. It'd be cool if these were a regular thing. There were I saw a bunch of people that were, listed. I think it was Michi Fossard, I think, said like it was going to be her first, like she's like excited that it's getting printed because it's the first time something she's drawing is being printed. And I'm sure that a bunch of the artists feel that way as well. They're just, excited to be like, wow, something I drew is, 1, I get paid for it. 2, it's going to actually be in print and distributed. Really cool. Really.
And Michi's comic is by far one of the things I'm most excited about. It is, her art is amazing. It is super
her art
unique.
Is amazing.
It's definitely, it's almost worth the price of the book alone.
True. Yeah. I like you said, I haven't actually looked at. I guess I do have access to the entries, which I didn't know. I haven't actually seen I haven't read all the contents. But maybe I will.
Draft.
I didn't look at it. I'm sorry. But I will. I promise. Maybe if I feel.
The only reason
I promise I'll look if I feel like it.
Yeah, the only reason I said it is because I kept seeing messages of you being like, I haven't actually been sent anything. I haven't seen anything. So I was like, all right, fuck you, man. Here, read it. And I knew you wouldn't. No,
I didn't. Okay, but link in the description. Go check it out. These guys deserve thanks for setting all this up. It's pretty cool. And become a patron at patreon.com/theprocrastinators if you want to support us. Also, hell, you could even do both. You could give money to both things if you really wanted to, if you were really dedicated, if you were a true fan and not some faker, but we'll see. Okay.
And if you were a real PCP fan, you'd go to patreon.com/KATOYT.
Nope. You have a Patreon too? Okay, yes. Also that.
That is classless, Zero. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Check out the
I'm a villain.
Check out the Kickstarter in the short term and the Patreon in the long term. Right? You have to funnel them. You have to funnel them down you have to whittle them down the pipeline. Right? You got to radicalize them on the KATO ideology. Like an onion, you have to progress them from the outer layer all the way to the inner layer. True. Okay, I guess we're done. I guess that's the episode. Thank you guys for coming on. Yes, we're done. We're free. Finally over. All right. Thanks everyone. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Good night. See you next week. Peace out.
Goodbye.